Oh, hi, Alchemic. Oi. I know, late stream, late boy. Still, we gotta do Majora. Ooh, I forgot to get water. I can do that later. I ain't even worried about it. Do. Certified banger. It's already downloaded. It's here. Majora's Mask. Ah! Gimme. Majora's Mask. Ooh. I see a bunch of people playing it. It's exciting. Let's see. Am I ready? Question that I ask myself every day. Every day I question if I'm ready. Oi. Alchemic, how have you been doing? Have you been doing good? Everything's working out, baby. We got the channel back. We got... Wait a second. Didn't you add Discord things? I'm gonna test them. Lurk. I'm lurking. Now, I'm unlurking. Oh my gosh, it's here. It works. Did you bring snacks? Aw, that's cute. You bet I brought snacks. I brought snacks enough for the entire class. I hope that y'all like trail mix. Oi, Ann, how are you doing? Look at the baby. Ooh, A-Star. Hey. A-Star, thank you for the sub. 19 months. Oi.
You think the moon is scary? Hee.
The moon is scary. What do you... Don't laugh at me. I'm scared of that moon. I don't want it killing me and everyone in the village. A-Star. Curry. Hey! You're crashing the party, Curry. Ah! Thank you for the raid. What the heck? Curry, you're just in time. I say Julie. Oi. And Tin's here. Hi there. Hi, Kimmy Omega. Hi there, Snoogles. Hi there, Curry. How was the stream? Curry, I was watching you play. You were playing more of that game. Hi, Curry friends. Oi, it's me, the Earl of Suds. We're going to be playing the new Majora's Mask. It's out. It's here. The Crane Couple's here too. Oh my gosh. Crane Couple, thank you for the sub. 13 months. Oh,
would you look at that
game? That game is so good. What? It is. It's just an itch.io game, or however you say that. Crane Couple, how are you doing? How was the stream? Crane Couple, were you playing along with Kuri? Were you giving some Kuri some support? Time to cry. Dragon Beowulf, why are we crying? I'm ready to cry though. What are we crying for? Oi, World of Robbie! How are you doing? It's very entertaining. I feel like it's an improvement, right? Isn't it like edited, not like the original one? I'm pretty sure that it's better because I saw things happening that I've never seen before. We actually just got home from grocery shopping. Yay! Did you get some produce? Some delicious strawberry? Very entertaining. Well. I think that I see that everybody wants me to play the game that Kuri's playing. However you say it. Okay. All right. We'll do the stream next week. You know, 5 hour stream of playing that game. It's free. Kuri, it looks free. So that does mitosis. Oh, like the science thing. Mitosis, like whenever they split. I see. I get it. Am I still a Zelda fan if I only played Breath of the Wild? I don't think so. No, you can't be a fan of something if you've only seen one of them. In my opinion, you have to have at least maybe 2 points of reference. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an example of something that you could be a fan of. I think you could be a fan. Oh, Kuri and I might be slightly different on that one. Guess we're not fans. Oh, what? You've only played one Zelda game? Crane couple, you gotta work on that backlog. It's a mess. It's a mess. I don't know why I was remaining tiny. I was remaining tiny this entire time. You've played so many Zeldas. Kuri is a super fan. A super fan, tier 3 sub, maximum Patreon. Thanks for supporting Nintendo. Muchly appreciated. People like Kuri and I, we pretty much fund Nintendo's operation by buying literally everything. You played an emulated version? That totally counts. That totally counts. Mario who? Zelda's my favorite Nintendo series. Mario's a little bit more all over the place. Like with Zelda, you always get an adventure, you always get some action, you always get like a princess to save, but Mario's like, I don't know. I feel like they cheapened Mario a little bit by sticking with the like platforming ones, but they're still all fun. I still like them all. I gotta go get some dinner, then ice cream, then I'm here for the masking. Yes, finally, some decent masks to wear. What is, Crane Couple, what is that? What? Oh no. Oh no, no. That's, Kuri, is that why you were inspired to do egg? No. Prego Mario, does he have a Toad or a Goomba in there? What is in there? What is Mario pregnant with? Ugh. Yucky. Maybe a mushroom? Maybe a mushroom child? I hate that. I hate it. Rosera, how you doing? What's up? Hey, we got new releases. We got new releases. Thanks, I hate it, Nardavel. I totally agree. Also, hi, Kareem. Hi there, Slimy Salamander. I must follow them. Now I've got to get myself a gifted sub. I feel uneasy now. You should be uneasy, Kareem. We have a pregnant Mario in the chat, and I think that he's about to give birth. His water broke. Oh no. Gross. Somebody get the hot water and disinfectant. We're about to have a birth on stream. Oh no. I never wanted to, listen. I have been there to deliver so many babies, but I've never done it on stream. So this is gonna be a new experience, you guys. I'm very excited. I can't wait. Pregnant Mario, and like you haven't drawn far more cursed things. Speaking of and drawing things, we do have a lot of new art that will be here very soon. You're gonna see Squirrel like you've never seen him before. Oh boy. I've already shown off some of the sketches. What was that for? What did I do? What did I do? Why would you do this? Okay. I think that it's time. It's time to get... By the way, that home run works on all the screens. I love it so much. Okay, you guys. I'm gonna need all of y'all's help, okay? I've never played this game. I've never successfully played this game. I'm gonna need everybody in the chat giving me maximum support. It's true. Let me see. Real talk. How much sleep do y'all need? I'm sleepy as heck unless I get a solid 10 hours. Everybody's different. That's something that people, like the sleep industry, is always telling us that we need like a specific amount of hours, but everybody needs it different, okay? So don't feel guilty about getting as much sleep as you need, okay? Or as little sleep. Either one. It don't matter. Just do you, baby. Oh, yes. There will also be some sort of announcement later. Some sort of an announcement. It's true. The announcement is that I am now flying in the sky and I've disappeared into the void. Congratulations. Also, hi, King of Squirrel. Thanks for the home run. I appreciate it. I'm surprised that I flew so far. That was such a good hit. Nice. What is happening? Oh yeah, so this is like a proper sequel to Ocarina of Time, right? Isn't it? So are they rebuilding the castle town? Is this the castle town or is this Kakiro village or however you say that? Where are we? Help! Is this Link? He's a little, wait, he's a baby again. Why is he a baby? Is Postman Pete It's set directly after Ocarina of Time, but it's in a different place. We've got a naked person walking down the stairs. Hi there. Put some pants on, thank you. This is not appropriate attire for being at the hotel. I regret to inform you. Kakiro Village, nailed it. No, that is not. Listen, I thought that's how you say it. Look, see, yeah, this don't look like nowhere I've ever been. No pants, no pants. Ah. Crane couple, I love that. Ah. Yeah. What is up with that fairy? It looks like it's from Rayman. It looks like a little Rayman. I forget what they're called. The little lums. Is that what they're called? A little kid up there with his big old shoes. Pantsless villagers. Pregnant Mario. This stream is chaos. Oh, listen, you didn't even mention the gnomes. You didn't even mention the gnomes or the baby. Look, there's a giant baby in the corner. One suspicious, dubious creature in the corner. And you're just ignoring him? He's looking in your eyes with a dead expression and you're just ignoring him. Did the music just get creepy? Is this what A-Star was talking about? No! A-Star, how dare you use a sub to make me scared of the moon? Oh, the only thing scarier than that moon is the pixels. Oh! Actually, that looks really cool. Looks like proper pixel art. Crunchy. Crunchy pixels, please. I'd nosh down on those. One dubious little creature, and then the baby. Who's the... Am I the baby? No. Alchemic. No. I'm the dubious creature. The baby in the corner is the child. New Ancient and Cookie Run? Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened. I pulled all my gachas, and you won't believe it. I did a normal gacha, not like the most normal, but the one that's supposed to get Affogato, and I got the Ancient. I didn't even get it from like the specific thing. So I've got both of them. Don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. I've got both of the new cookies. Don't worry about that. I'll be upgrading them very soon. I don't have enough powder though. I need more. But the baby is you, Kenny. No, I am not a baby. I am a grown man. Do babies have mustaches? When have you seen a baby born with a mustache? It's my disguise. I can't let people know that I'm actually a baby. You saw the darned moon as a child, you would have thrown the game away? What? I saw the moon when I was a kid because of Super Smash Brothers. So like in there's a Melee course that has like, the moon will slowly zoom in. Yes, monster, Majora's Mask is out. Yay. Hooray! I can finally play this banger. We can finally play the banger. It's on the Switch now. It's running great. I think this is still the cutscene. Yeah, the pulls were super easy this time. Used all those arena diamonds. I know, I have like 30,000 diamonds to spend on stuff. And they even like rewarded you for upgrading your, who was it? Eclair? Yeah, if you upgraded Eclair with stars, then you got like a ton of bonuses. It was ridiculous. Cookie Run continuing to be like the most generous mobile game that I've ever played. Like all the mobile games that I've gone back to as a kid that I used to play, like Jetpack Joyride or something, they always are so like stingy and they have a bunch of ads everywhere. It's no good. Mobile games are they're so selfish now. They're just cash grabbing it, but not Cookie Run. Cookie Run's doing whatever it wants. Only 2 files? What? Just for you and your brother? This is why I leave early. What happened? This is so awkward. The bus I was going to catch to get to work is canceled. What? Awkward. No work? No work? Are you gonna have to walk home? Oh no. You got a ton of stuff from 5 starring Eclair. Yeah, oh yeah, and T-Knight. I forgot about both of them. I only got Eclair to like 4, and I only got T-Knight to 2. So I didn't get that much, but it was something. Okay, what are we gonna name Link? We can name him anything we want. This save file screen. I'm taking a nostalgia smack to the face. Exactly, yes. Yes, it's a throwback, baby. Throwing back to the days of old. The days where you couldn't use the caps and instead you just have to use small or big. That G's not cut correctly. Look, it's got bonus pixels on the bottom. Does that G make a different sound? got a little cutoff there. I wonder what letter that's from. Maybe from the T. Maybe this is set up. I can see little extra pieces. This is an Elden Ring, exactly. I thought about putting that in the title, Lupus. Hi, Lupus. I was gonna say like, no Elden Ring, because these are the. I know Elden Ring is what everyone's playing. I thought that it might be a little more equal, but like nobody's playing Majora's Mask. It just came out. I don't care about no Elden Ring. I don't even own it anyway. I don't own it. I'm not paying $60 for a good beating. That's all that you're doing. You're paying $60 to be abused by a game for many, 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 many hours. It's got mixed reviews right now. What? What's wrong with it? Does not work. Okay, so it's got some problems with installation and performance. Wah. That doesn't mean that the game's bad. Oh my goodness, people freaking out. PC gamers, that's just how they are. PC gamers are always like, oh, it doesn't run perfectly. $60 for another Dark Souls DLC. What? It's not, they're not all DLC. What about Sekiro? That's not DLC. That's too different. My brother is one of those gamers. Oh yes, he'll pay $60 just to get whacked around by some big bosses. You don't have time to play half of these games. Hey, Dragonbait, what did I say? I'm sorry for picking on Elden Ring. I promise it's 10 out of 10. It's a 10 out of 10 best game in the world. Listen, Lupus, you just have to take some time off. Take like, I don't know, 3-4 years off and just play all the games. Sekiro, you mean Dark Souls Japan edition? It's just Dark Souls redubbed. They just dubbed Dark Souls. It's not a new game. Maybe we'll just name our character Lonk. Let me see. We've named them Lonk. We've named them Lizard. Maybe we should pick another L name. We could name him Long. Majora's Mask, it's Frulio! Ah, Frulio! Oi. How are you doing? I can't believe it. Frulio, I feel like we're on the same wavelength right now. We're wanting to play the new Earthbound game. Now we've got new Majora's Mask. Finally, Nintendo's giving us some proper delicious nostalgia bait. Yum yum. Lorp, finally! I know. When are they gonna release Banjo-Tooie, Mother 3? And there's like a few more that Nintendo. Oh, and Super Mario RPG. I want to play that. I've never played it before. Where's my Mario RPG? It's on the NES Classic or the SNES Classic. I want it. You love Super Mario RPG? See, I've never played it. I don't want to emulate it, or well, at least I want to use the Nintendo emulator. I don't want to just play that on a crummy old emulator. Mother 2 is not a proper game in my book. What? You mean Earthbound? Like the most popular of the Mother franchise in America? What do you mean? You heard that the director wants to make a sequel to the original Super Mario RPG as his final project. Oh my gosh, going out with a bang. You just want Conker's Bad Fur Day? I don't know if I can play Conker's Bad Fur Day. It's a funny game, but I don't know if I can play that. Maybe we would. There's kind of a lot of, wait, what did you say? What's the idea? Lorp? Would Lorp make us laugh every time? Will this make you giggle every single time that you see it? Ah, Lorp, we need your help. Turning into this toxic stream with Conker? Lorp, it's making Frulio laugh. All right. I mean, it has to be an L name. We've named him Lizard, Lonk. I think we've even played it as Link. Very poopy joke, yes. Ahaha. Very funny. It's like Banjo. It's Banjo Adult Edition. Lorp. All right. You guys, like I said, I'm going to need as much help as I can get. All right. It's backseat gaming enabled. Just don't tell me exactly what to do. All right. We're going to be the Lorp of Suds. Here we go. We're going to LARP as Link. LARP, live action role playing. Yes, but now it's LORP. Link. Hang on, let me read this. In the land of Hyrule, there's a legend or something. A boy who, after battling evil and saving Hyrule, crept away from the land that had made him a legend. Done with the battles that he once waged across time, he embarked on a journey, a secret and personal journey. A journey in search of a beloved and invaluable friend. Zelda? A friend whom he parted ways with when he finally fulfilled his heroic destiny and took his place among legends. Legend of who? Legend? Should be Legend of Link, confirmed. Ganon, oh yeah, his good friend Ganon. His sweet friend Ganon. I can't believe that he's not going on an adventure with Ganon anymore. How's the sound? Can y'all hear good? 2 fairies. What? 2 fairies for the price of 1? Where's Navi? Hello? Hello? Hey, listen. I don't see Navi. Where'd Navi go? Also, Epona, if that's how you say it. Epoggers. Forrest's looking a little sussy. I'm scared. What's gonna happen? Don't scare the horse? Why would you do this? They did it on purpose. Who are they? Are they friends with him? Oh no. Oh, shucks. Skull Kid.
Hee, you 2 fairies did great. I wonder if he has anything good on him. Huh? This guy. Well, that shouldn't be a problem.
I like his crab walk. Majora, Skull Kid cosplay win. I gotta get the mask for starters, and then we can work on the outfit. What? Robbery. Highway robbery. Ooh, what a pretty ocarina. Hey, Skull Kid, let me touch it. I want to see. Oh, no. Don't play it. You can't, Tyel. What would we do if you dropped it and broke it? No way, you can't touch it. No trust in their fellow fairy. Oh, but sis, why can't I try it out too? I don't know how to give them unique voices. They're both just high voices. Link's face. This feels like a... I like the comedic timing. Very good. Oh my god, he's dragging. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Link, what are you hanging on to? Oh, he's got his leg. Oh my god. It's a fight to the death. Well, if it isn't the hottest... What? Oh my gosh, Dai, how are you doing? Oi, oi, oi. Dai, how have you been doing? Hiya, I missed you for the past 2 days. I missed all of y'all. Oi, oi, oi. Some of y'all were messaging me during the time that I was away for like only 2 days, but thank goodness it kept me going. Oh, we're into the game. Where are you going? Can I not rotate the camera? Oh, I'm used to Banjo now. Banjo has like the camera can rotate. Okay, let me turn down the music a little bit. It's kind of jamming. Okay. What do I do? All right, let me just get used to these controls. It's so weird. I can't. Oh, we got smoke jams. You're jamming to this music? Of all the music to jam to, it's the battle music I'm in danger. Let's see. Well. Looks like I've already got my shield. Ready to go. This reminds me of walking around in the hidden forest. But the music is not nearly as good. Alright, I'm gonna assume that there's like no goodies in here because I think that this is the prologue. Prologue, we can just speedrun any % prologue. I don't think that there's any heart pieces or anything like that. The Lost Woods track is a bop. I'd say it's the best Zelda song. Whoa. Getting kind of trippy down here. I don't know what Link fell into, but it don't look good. You've got enough crafting materials for a legendary, but you don't know what to craft? Oh, for a legendary what? Crafting medals for a legendary. I'm trying to remember what game you're talking about, A-Star.
What's that? What's with that stupid horse of yours? It doesn't listen to a word that's said to it.
I'm gonna sell my horse. Oh, I thought that for a legendary weapon? Legendary skin. Oh, I see. Maybe for Mad Maggie, right? You don't have too many skins for her, right? You could get a new, yeah, finishing moves, emotes. Yeah, I would get a legendary skin, but that's just me. I don't care about weapon skins myself.
There's no point in riding a thing like that, so I did you a favor and got rid of it.
Did he kill my horse?
Aw, boo-hoo. Why the... Hey!
What is that for? And what did I do? What?
Aw, boo-hoo. Why the sad face? I just thought that I'd have a little bit of fun with you. Oh, come now. Do you really think that you can beat me?
I'm thinking no. Oh yeah, I just remembered what happens. By the way, I hate this game, Floggy. Why you gotta be so hateful? Also, you can link your account. It's totally safe. If anything, it'll make your account more safe. Hi there, Floggy. How have you been doing? It's good to see you. I'm surrounded by munchkins. You can't be scared of this game. It's too old. They didn't know how to make proper horror back then. Lonk is tripping. He's been tripping ever since he fell in that, oh my gosh, in the hole. Big boy in the background. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. Link turned into a Gulubulub, or whatever it's called. He turned into a Gib-Gulubulub. A Whipple Schlopple. He's still got his hair though. I love it. He's kind of handsome.
Hee, now that's a good look for you.
You'll stay here. I see his eye. I see your eyes kind of floating there, chum. See him kind of floating. I think I'm seeing past the Matrix here. How long am I streaming today? Today's probably gonna be kind of a short stream. A little short stream. Why, are you planning? Are you planning to stick around, Awkward? You better be. Yes. Are they split up? Did he split up the fairies? That rascal. Oh, thank you for the lurk, Floggy. I appreciate it. Well, also now you can unlurk. Alchemic made it so that you can unlurk. And what else is there, Alchemic? Wasn't there like a couple more? I think they were less exciting than unlurk. This game is so tough with the time mechanic. You could never finish. Slimy Salamander, we gotta finish it together. Please help me. We'll do it live, and then you never have to beat the game, ever, unless you want to. A hug. Aw, that's cute. Alchemic Refuge hugged a Floggy. How sweet. Aw, that's cute. Never mind, there's more fun ones. Forever lurking, never to return. Kareem, please don't lurk. Please don't lurk, not like that anyway. Oh boy, Majora's time. Oapsty! Ah! Oaps is here, Oaps is here. Oaps, do you love this game? Is this your game? Do you love it? Here it is. Hello, friends. Oh my goodness, we got a couple of toads in the chat shaking my head. What? I had no idea that was a command. It's a new command, Nardivel. Alchemic made it. Alchemic created that. I don't know how. Out of raw materials. Oh, cooldown. Cooldown? No, I think that you can't use the at. I think that the at might be the thing. I might love it a whole lot. Ooh, well, Oasty, you're gonna want to tune into every stream, I'm sure. If only you could wake up. If only. Alex a wizard, that's how. Yes, it was prestidigitation. Oops, got a hug with the at? Yeah, it might be cooldown then. Man, that Skull Kid needs an attitude change. Homestar Gamer, what's up? Oi, it's good to see you. Oh yes, retro games. We're back at it again. I think that we're gonna give him an attitude adjustment. I think we're gonna teach him who's boss, Homestar Gamer, and we're gonna speed run the game in just this stream, of course. But yeah, short stream. I'm trying to go watch Uncharted later. Ooh, Uncharted. I heard that it was pretty good. I heard that it was just like a little generic, a little samey, but still interesting set pieces. Good actors. I mean, the cinematography is pretty good. Like, it should be a good time. It looks like it would be a good time. Well, don't go and sit there, Deku boy. Do something. Oh yeah, the theaters in my area are showing The Godfather for like the 50th anniversary, I think. I might go see that because I haven't seen The Godfather before, and that seems like the best way to watch it. Why are you looking at me like that? What, is there something stuck on my face? Girl, you ain't got no face. You're faceless. Got nothing on your face. You're just a little ball of light. You like your action movies, generic and interchangeable actors? Oh, well, then I'm sure that you'll have a good time. I think that most of the people complaining were like, I don't know. I guess I did hear like Uncharted fans being like, this isn't Uncharted. It's a video game movie. It's never correct. But I did hear a couple of people that were like, if you don't know anything about these characters, you won't care. Kenny, what if I have no progress in Cookie Run on anything else? On anything else than what? What if I had no progress on anything else? What, in Cookie Run? No progress in what way? Because you can just, if you just link your account, then it makes you allowed to cloud save. It just attaches them. Whenever a game uses a word like link, that means that you don't have to reset anything. It just adds the account, that's all. That reminds me, my flatmate has Uncharted and he said I could play. I hear that they're really good games. I played a little bit of the first one and it was pretty fun. But I think I had just played Tomb Raider, so I think I was a little tired of like third-person action games. Maybe I'll give it another try later. Will you just open that door, please? Come on, a helpless little girl is asking you, so hurry up. You are not... I would describe you as a girl. A girl that has a face, huh? I'm not really seeing it. Yeah, if you linked, you can play CRK on your tablet. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I was worried, like, if your phone gets smashed or stolen, then you can always... What? A raid? Kuya Cat, thank you for the raid. What the heck? It's a pizza party. Ooh, I kind of want to get pizza later. I don't know. I might get some pizza tonight. It's a pizza party. What toppings do we have? Kuya Cat, thank you so much for the raid. We're here with Majora's Mask. A new game, no Elden Ring here. Not in the Elden Ring. Not a ring. No rings allowed. Oi, Illusory Thrall. I love that name. Thank you for the follow. What's up? Do I sense a D&D player or a Skyrim player or something? Pizza! Pizza day. Serenades. Welcome back to the chat. How are you doing? How was Kuya's stream? Kuya Cat, how was your stream? Let me see. Where's the shout out? Can we get a shout out for... Oh, wait. Be sure to follow Kuya Cat at Error API servers. What the heck? Okay, it looks like we got a little bit of a problem. Raid! But I forgot to copy the message. Oh, Illusory Thrall. Welcome in. Welcome in. How was Kuya's stream? We're playing Majora's Mask on the Switch? Majora's Mask on the Switch? More likely than you think. Oh, you were playing Breath of the Wild. That's perfect. That's a perfect matchup. Well, thank you so much for the raid, Kuya Cat. If you need to get some food or some water, please do. But if you want to stick around and watch some more Zelda, I could use all the help I can get because I've never played this game before. I'm doing so good, Serenades. Thank you for asking. I took a couple of days off, did a lot of housework, got to see a friend. It's been good. It's been good. I've been having a good time. Now, I've been super excited about this game for like months, but also since the direct announcement, I've been very excited. Darren's here. Hey, Darren, what's up? Welcome to the spookiest Legend of Zelda game ever made. Majora's Mask time. Yes, I'm very excited, Darren. It's gonna be good. How are you doing? It's my favorite wizard. Oh my gosh, my favorite wizard. I gotta say, Darren's beard is encouraging me to grow a beard. Like I keep looking at Darren's beard and I keep having like beard envy. I think I have serious beard envy with Darren, and it's upsetting me. And it's starting to bother me more and more. So we might, and also I promised I would grow a beard at some point. If I have long hair and a beard, I'll be looking pretty good. Hey, so stoked that I made it for this. Marigold, you're here. We're playing Majora's Mask. We here. We'll get hairy again. Oh, what? Pink Monster, do you want to grow a beard with me? That's awesome. Long beard, let's go. Nah, Kenny, you need to go egg again. See, awkward is the chaotic side of my chat. The danger. The danger. If I listen to awkward, then I'll be pulled into the darkness, never to return, and everyone will enjoy the ride. Eldritch Corvid, what's up? Egg was a good time. How are you doing, Eldritch? It's good to see you. Did you change your chat color? I like it. It looks like a kind of poisonous yet natural green. I like it. It suits you very well. Yeah, I don't mind the egg. Kind of miss it, to be honest. Oh my God. See, I did think on New Year's, I was like, should I become the gimmick? Should I live the life of the gimmick where I shave my head bald every year? The beard's a bit of a commitment. Yeah, how long did it take you to grow that thing? It's got to be like, I would guess it's taken more than like 8 years, 10 years, something like that. Keep the long hair, grow a beard, and shave your eyebrows. Would that look good? No eyebrows? It's the eyebrows that make you look, in my opinion, eyebrows are 100% necessary. If you don't have eyebrows, you look kind of like an alien, and it's pretty awesome. You think you're like 5 years of beard? You got some good genes, Darren. You got some good genes. You better make sure that you share those genes. Spooky vibes. Oi, oi. How are you doing? Welcome, welcome. All right, eyebrows are coming off tonight. Thanks, you guys. We'll do a shaving stream this evening. That's the surprise. I'm kind of mad that y'all already figured it out. Oh, I don't have a sword no more. I ain't got a sword no more. How are you supposed to emote without eyebrows like this? You just raise your missing eyebrows. Eyebrows are necessary. I hate it when my eyebrows practically disappear in the sun. What? That's not very practical. I don't think that's very practical. Exquisite Toaster. What? That's a name I haven't seen in a little while. How are you doing, Toaster? I hope you've been doing good. Oi, 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 oi. Also, Anxiously Ace. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's our Royalty Soaps friendo. I remember you. You followed and subscribed and were so sweet. Goodness gracious. Got a brand new friend, Anxiously Ace. We're playing some Majora's Mask. Have you ever seen this game? Have you ever played this game? Who's played this game? We need to figure out who knows what they're doing. You can pick every morning what eyebrows you want to draw in. See, that's what I did, Spooky Vibes, for like an entire like month. I was drawing on eyebrows. Serenades hasn't played this. Okay. So that stuff back there, I apologize. So take me with you. Great. We get an apology right off the bat. So you want to know where the Skull Kid you want to know about that Skull Kid that just ran off, right? Well, I just so happen to have an idea of where he might be going. Take me with you and I'll help you out. Please. Onegai. Onegai shimasu. Good, it's settled. Okay, looks like we got a new Navi. New Navi, you guys. New Navi update. They're now just a boring non-blue. You started playing on the 3DS, but you got stressed because you don't know what to do and you forgot about it. Yeah, Champion of the Raven Queen. I had kind of a similar situation. I tried to play this game, and yeah, it's a little stressful. And that's why I need y'all's help so that I don't stress as much. And I make sure that I can actually like win. You're finally getting out of a massive depressive episode. I'm so happy for you, Exquisite Toaster. I'm also happy that you took time off. While you're feeling bad to process stuff. I'm glad that you're feeling a little bit better, Exquisite Toaster. I'm so happy to see you. I missed you a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't have eyebrows to begin with. See, Eldritch? Perfect. Now you can just draw on whatever you want. Anxiously Ace, you love this game? Perfect. Hooray. Subprimed. That's what you should call it when anyone subs with a prime. Thanks for being a subprime viewer. I don't know if that gives off the right message. I don't think we can say that. I have, but you're not getting help from me unless you're desperate. Alchemic, listen. You're fantastic about giving advice, all right? All right, Alchemic may be the very best because Alchemic already knows everything and also doesn't tell me everything. Okay, that's exactly what I need. Also, Darren was talking about beard. You said, oh, hi, Independent Oreo. Oi. Okay, hear me out. An eyebrow piercing while having shaved eyebrows? That's so weird. If you had like enough eyebrow piercings, you'd practically have an eyebrow. That's kind of gross. I don't like it. You comb it downwards and oil it every day, coaching it into straight in essence. Yeah, see, my beard gets really curly. and it just becomes like a bushel. It's like it just becomes a big interwoven bush, even though it's like the hairs are getting longer, but it just gets into a tighter and tighter ball until I can't breathe anymore, and I almost perish. Any primers in chat? Hey, do we have some prime subs in chat? I don't smell any. Oh, I get it. Tattletale. Tattle and tail. My name's Tattle, so it's nice to meet you or whatever. That's not very nice. I know very little about this game, so I'm gonna be here to watch you struggle. Nice. Homestar Gamer giving me help on Earthbound, giving me help on Banjo-Kazooie, and now you can just watch me suffer. Okay, we press up to talk to them. Yeah, not tile. Tile sounds nicer, but it's just tattle. Okay, you can change form in this game. It's crazy. There you go, little flower poop. Got pooped out of a flower. It's so cute. I wish I had a couple of... How do I change the... Do I have to do this all the time to like rotate the view? Your siblings would call you Tattletale? Awkward. I'm not surprised that you were making trouble. I'm gonna be honest. This game's so good. I honestly, I love the aesthetic, that's for sure. Maybe because I got him in trouble a lot. What? You were a Tattletale. Awkward. What happened to the rules of the homies? Thought that the homies didn't tattle on each other. Snitches get stitches and all of that. You wish they'd bring these mechanics back for another game? Ooh. I've only been a Deku boy, I think. Did anyone teach you the tint glitch in Earthbound? It's super fun, the tint glitch. I don't think anybody mentioned that. We didn't finish Earthbound, and we might go back to it. You have regrets? Wish I grabbed, what did you say? Wish I'd grabbed the opportunity to experiment with shaving my head or eyebrows when we were in lockdown. Yeah, spooky vibes. To be fair, I had already shaved my head bald before, so it wasn't new. Oh, yes! Wait, you want to be a Zora again? Zora? You get to be a beautiful Zora? The Zoras are like the elves. They're like the elves of the Nintendo franchise, the Zelda franchise. I wonder who would be the... Oh, yeah, the dwarves are the... Can I just, like, drop? Oh, I can just drop a little poop. Those would be the Gorons are the dwarves. The Hylians are the... I don't think I can make that. The Hylians are the humans. Who else is there? I guess these guys could be the hobbits, I suppose? I don't know if there's a hobbit. How far can I fly? I'm scared. I don't think I'm gonna make it across here. But I'm gonna do my best. Skull Kid is Gollum. Oh, no, I can't make that. I can't make that. How am I supposed to... Do I need to go over there? I don't think I do. Okay, you guys, I'm big braining it. Real gamers here. Real gaming hours. Not everything is Lord of the Rings, lad. Yes, it is. And also, it's super accurate and you know it. You know that it's accurate. The Zora are literally elves. Okay. Whoa. Do a little fancy kick move. I like that. Can we make it across here? Oh, yeah. This is how you do it. What's up with that platform up there, then? I don't know. Hey, you. Come on. Press Z and talk to me. Fine. I guess. Oh, wait. Oops. Uh-oh. Okay. How do I do this? There you go. See? You can do it if you try. What? I wasn't not trying to do it before. I didn't want to talk to you. I cut my hair a little short. It's actually growing on me, but nah, the flatmates thought that a hairdresser fixed it up. Oh, awkward. Nice. Yeah, you said that you look like... I'm trying to remember the name of the character. It's like Macho Mike or like Slithery Steve or something. You like mentioned a character that you look like. Maybe like Sadistic Samantha or something. I'm reading the Lord of the Rings trilogy for the first time ever. Ooh, Lord of the Rings is hard to read for me, Robbie. It's much easier to listen to. Like, it's so detailed. So detailed-oriented. Dude, the Skull Kid Gollum comparison is legit. It low-key never occurred to you. I hadn't thought of that either. Coconut Head, that's who it is. Coconut Head. Sadistic Steve. Oh! See you later. Thanks for the ride, Ann. It's actually doing pretty great over there on the right side of the screen. Thanks for helping me check it out. I want to make sure that the stream's working. You guys see anything on the stream that's broken? Just hit me with that baseball bat, and I'll go take a look at it. What is this? Can't jump, but we can do a fancy little spin. Maybe I can learn how to do a spin like that. If I do a spin like this in real life, will it activate my magical powers?
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
Oh my, I've seen this picture before. Isn't this a... That's a screenshot. This is a thing. This is a thing. I've seen this meme.
You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?
Should make some kind of a Banjo-Kazooie animation now. Ooh, that's a good point. Maybe I should make art for everything that we like complete or like play for a really, really long time. Hey, I think that the webcam is a bit weird. Give me a second. Is it weird? What's wrong with it? Is it squished? The camera is broken. It's Die, please. Goodness. Die, could you for 2 seconds? I totally feel that, Kenny. My ADHD makes it so hard to focus on reading. That's kind of why it's been perfect for bedtimes. Oh, it puts you to sleep. Oh, thanks, Alchemic. Oh, it wasn't Alchemic. Alchemic, I thought that you were going to give me a tour of the stream by knocking me across it. But it was Slimy. Thanks for the ride.
I own the Happy Mask Shop. I travel far and wide in search of masks. During my travels, a very important mask was stolen from me by an imp in the woods. So here I am at a loss, and now I've found you. Now, don't think me rude, but I have been following you. For I know a way to return you to your former self.
It better not be that mask, because I'm not wearing that. I am not wearing that mask if that's your solution. Also, Tay! Hey, Tay's here! You mischief maker. What, me? Oh, Die. Yes. Die making mischief. Tay causing no trouble whatsoever. Tay being 100% reasonable human being.
For I know a way to return you to your former self. If you can get back that precious item that was stolen from you, I will return you to normal.
Oh, the ocarina?
In exchange, all I ask is that you also get my precious mask that imp stole from me. It's my precious after all. What? It's not a simple task? Why, to someone like you, it should be by no means a difficult task. Except, the one thing is I'm a very busy fellow, and I must leave this place in 3 days. How grateful I would be if you could bring back it before the time here is up.
What? It's already timed? Oh my gosh, they're already stressing me out. Shucks. Anyone else remember looking at this game or characters or drawings and imagining what they'd look like as bodybuilders? What? You're imagining them all as bodybuilders and buff? Sounds like you need to get better at drawing so that we can see some fan art. Mask salesman is Gollum confirmed? I think so. He might be Schmeagol right now. That's what I'm thinking. This whole game is time stress? Don't tell me that, Darren. You're supposed to lie to me. You're supposed to lie to me and say, it's easy, don't worry. You're gonna hate time in this game. Oh, great. I hope that we can beat this game, you guys. Oh no, I'm stressed. You gotta go. You wish that you could say, but work calls. Ooh, good luck with work, Awkward. Good luck, good luck. Who else is gonna serve people macas? I appreciate you, Awkward. Thank you very much for doing that job. I know that it's underappreciated and people don't maybe show you appreciation all the time, but I sometimes eat at McDonald's and I really, really appreciate having food made for me. So thank you to everybody in the service industry, because sometimes I don't want to cook and you're helping me live. So thank you, Awkward, and good luck with your work. I hope that people are nice.
But yes, you'll be fine. I see that you're young and have tremendous courage. I'm sure that you'll find it right away.
Thank you, that other Ted. It's honestly not that bad. Thank you very much. I feel so confident now. Thanks. We can totally beat this game. Yay. Oh boy.
Well then, I'm counting on you.
Let's guy is sussy. Mask guy is Wormtongue. Yes, Grima Wormtongue.
They're not welcome. Master. The wizard. The wizard's not your friend.
Opsan has been here. Can you believe it? I suckered Opst out of the woodwork. Opst probably woke up just to watch Majora's Mask. Finally, I'm getting some of the love that I deserve. Yo, I'm getting this $25 voucher for working that long shift. Hey, nice. Tay-chan. Oh snap! Didn't even snap back with a Tay-san. Chan. Uh-oh. Tay, I don't know if you know what that means, but pretty sure that Opes just insulted you. 72 hours remain. I hate it. So I'm gonna have to figure out when the timer runs. He gives me the creeps. That mask salesman was sorry, just thinking aloud. But 3 days, even if we never sleep, that leaves us a measly 72 hours. Talk about demanding. Well, don't just stand there. We're gonna go see the Great Fairy. The who? Look, do you want to find the Skull Kid, don't you? The Great Fairy will know what he's up to. She watches over everything. And just between you and me, the Skull Kid is no match for the Great Fairy. Go to the shrine near the North Gate. You'll find the Great Fairy in there. I remember there's like there's like a gang of kids that you can interact with here. Look, there's one of the masks that I gave away in the last game. Let me just whack you a little bit. Do they not care about a little Deku and the little Deku running around? It's a very accepting society. I like it. They're like, oh, you know, oh, hang on, we've got a problem. No, not the immigration officer. Sir, I promise, I've been living here ever since I was a child. My parents were the ones that immigrated. I promise. Let me through. You suck. Authority, never to be trusted.
Stop right there, Deku Scrub. Do you intend to return to the swamp alone? It's dangerous outside the town walls. I cannot allow a child like you to leave unaccompanied.
I'm not a child. I'm a little Deku. Jedi's here. Hey, Jedi. Is Twitch actually working today? Oi, oi, oi. Jedi. I always miss you, but I also know I don't stream very late. At least I get to see you in other chats, Jedi. Awa! He called you a scrub. Yeah, he's like,
well, hold it right there, criminal scum. No scrubs get out of the city on my watch. Pay the court fine or be thrown in prison.
Ooh, we got jugglers? Hang on. Are we about to do some juggling? Oh, I can't juggle like this. This is a little too fancy, guys. It's a little too fancy. Sorry, I can't pull this one off. Let me see. I'm gonna try to do. I'll try to do a little bit of juggling really quick. Let me see. How rusty am I? Oh wait, I'm gonna want to hear the music though. I want to hear the music in the background. Is it still because this is juggling music? Let me see. Does it turn off here? It does. Let's see. I'll just put Elgato down here. What did I just do? What did I just do? Okay, put that back. Which one is it? I forget. What is it called? What? I need to add it. I just made myself disappear. Shucks. What is it called? Video capture device? Game capture. Yeah, okay. So I can just put that back there. Boom. Now I got some music. Okay, and I can't even listen to it. I forgot. Okay, let me see. Do we still got the juggling prowess? Whoa! Yeah. Let me see. Oh, a little rusty. Oh! Oh! There's a guy running past me in the game. Where are you going? Oh. Wait a second. Let me try the trick. Hang on. The trick is going. Hang on. I'll get it. I'll get it. I'll get it. No! So close! Hang on. No! So rusty, shucks. Shucks! Okay. Let's see. Okay, small. Ball. A little messy, a little sloppy. No! Not even close. I'll tell you, if we go back to the city, next time that we die, I forgot that this game just keeps running. Oh no. Ah, dang it. The game's timed. You only have 72 hours. I know. That sounds like juggling music. I forgot that the game was like that. No games are like that. Oh my gosh. Listen, whenever we die and we come back to the city, then I will juggle my pins. I will juggle the pins, okay? Promise. If we make it back to this village. Whenever we die, everybody's gonna get a little, everyone's gonna get a little gift. Now that we've wasted a lot of time, yeah, I have juggling pins. It's true. And I'll probably bonk myself in the head because that happens all the time. I am much worse with the pins. Oh, can't go through there. Where? Let's see. You love the all black fit? Oh, yes. I was actually wearing a white hoodie before, but I spilled coffee on it.
Even better. Painfully,
Do the little, look at the little Deku shuffle. I know. He looks like he's trying so hard to walk.
If you want to pass through here, you're gonna have to say the secret code.
What's the code? 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to get this from the gang of kids, don't you?
Wrong. Jim said I can't let anybody who doesn't know the code.
The secret code is I will end you. Yeah, see, we gotta like find all the kids to get the code. TBF. I spilled my tea today. What does TBF mean? And also, that is horrible. Tay, why are we so clumsy today? Wait a second. Tay, did you infect me with clumsiness? Wait a second. I don't remember you being that close to me. Oh, to be fair, whoops. Gotta boot up my copy of Majora's Mask to play along. Nice. Gets hit by a bat. Nice. Flies away. Nice shot. Home run. Look at this guy. Donkey Kong?
Oh, when I saw that fairy, I thought that you were a troublemaking brat with a mask. Sorry, but you can't play if you don't have a bow.
Great. Whoops, sorry, Kenny, for that hit. Shaking my head. I'm so clumsy. Oh, I see. You were trying to hit the baseball that was flying through. I see. Anne wasn't aiming for me. Also, I figured out that you have to click a button to open the doors. I remember these guys. How do I talk to people? I gotta get in front of him.
Hey, apprentice, don't just stand around looking at the sky all day.
He's not. He's walking around. Look at him. He's working. Can't believe how much pressure they're putting on these people. What about you?
Okay.
Hey, could you please listen? I've already been hit so many times. My face is about to bruise up. Gonna have to put on makeup for the next stream. Thanks a lot.
This poster's an eyesore. What a sorry collection of cowards. Blech! Foo!
Foo? Where do you find these gnomies? They're getting weirder by the week. Are you talking about the gnome that's popping up on screen?
Recruiting soldiers, protect peace and uphold justice with us. The core recruiter, Vincent.
Yes, I drew that. That's mine. I made that myself. I made it myself. All I had to do was look in the mirror and I had a perfect reference. No time.
Dear Lord.
Yeah, I need to make more of them. I'm gonna make one for, I gotta make one for Tim Allen. I've gotta make one for maybe Banjo. Go-huh? Go-huh? Maybe that'll be the sound effect. It can just be, or it can be beep, beep, or beep, beep. Go-huh? Go-huh? and it's just disgusting. Good reference? What did I reference? What? What did I do? The voice work is excellent. Oh, thank you, Ted. I just like goofing around. I mean, if you can do a silly voice, why not? Why not? I'm trying to give you a fully immersive experience. Okay, time for the woman voice. Sorry. We hit my highest note. Finally, a proper redeem. My highest note. Oh, what a cute guest. Do you have a reservation? Where's your mommy? I'm sorry, we're totally booked with reservations. Please tell that to your mother. I'm gonna tell it to your mother. You won't believe what I've been telling your mother. I'm breaking in. Making my own room. Look at that. I can just walk. Look, I see. I don't need to pay. Keep practicing. Ope's standard of high note is high. I can do a higher note if I inhale. No. Weak. You're looking judgingly at me.
Tomorrow is another early day, so good night. I'll read you a story tomorrow.
Ah, you can get that tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, some things you have to do everything in a different order, right?
It was my granddaughter who cooked again today. Putting that
to the lips shortens the what? What?
Putting that to the lips shortens the life. I thought of a way to get by without eating. I'll try it tomorrow. I just hope I'm not caught.
What? Is she doing some like dark ritual that keeps her from having to eat? Lady, teach me how. I do not. The granddaughter's poisoning her. She's being poisoned by her own granddaughter and she knows it. Minecraft cow? Oh, it's 8:30 and the stockpot inn is closing the door. Oh, so it just shuts you out. They shut me out. They kicked me out. Guess granddaughter can't cook. Oh, her cooking's just terrible. Oh, look, Mario.
Hello, Luigi. Listen, buddy, this is a place that adults come to. Come back once you're an adult.
That'll be many years, sir. Please. Oh, it's the guy.
Well, I have to get ready for tonight's business.
Yeah, that was the guy from Lon Lon. Or Lon Lon? Was it Lon Lon Ranch? Where Epona was or something? What is this? Deposit mail here. Ka-ching! Okay. The music in the milk bar is legit catchy. Oh, I missed it. We'll have to go back. We gotta go back to the bar. Everybody drink up. What is this? Okay, I need to get used to like what's on the front of the buildings. So this is the inn, because it's got the moon. This is the bar. I guess it has a menu on the outside. Yeah, it's got the menu. This one's got to be a shop because it's got the treasure. This one's got, it's like a monster shop or something, right? Or sushi? Maybe it'll tell. Oh, you can check what it is. Town shooting gallery. Okay, it's where you beat up the enemies. Makes sense. She said that her granddaughter was awful at cooking. What kind of bad cooking kills you? That must mean that she's using the wrong ingredients or something. Hey, Positivity Boy, what's up? Ayo, I hope you're doing well. I know you've been working your buns off. I hope that it hasn't been too bad, my friend. I'll talk to this show. Have you ever seen this game? This is the dog. The dog can fall in the water. Oh. I hope it likes swimming. What? It attacks you? I'm out of here. This is why I'm scared of dogs. Truth comes out, you guys. I'm scared of dogs, all right? And this is exactly why. Go away. Go. Back off. I will injure you. Stop. Is it? Oh, it's not actually injuring me, thankfully. Double shifts? Oof. I remember you saying that you were having to do double shifts. Mamma mia. Thank you very much for doing the healthcare thing and keeping people alive and contributing to humanity's survival. doing out here? Oh, I thought that those were very, very tiny bikinis at first, but it's just the color of their skin. See, they're wearing clothes, guaranteed. Don't bother us. Walk up to a pretty lady and they just say, "Don't bother us." Don't bother us. Is this game real life? Shucks. I want what they're having. Excuse me, sir, can I get what these ladies have? Post office, okay. Post office, it has a little bunny on the top. That's cute. And this is open. This looks like, yeah, the war office. Why is the swordsman a hippie? He's like, hey man, I'm gonna teach you how to kill, man. This is a training center to learn the sacred way of the sword. It is no place for children. Shucks. He's even got a Minecraft cow in here for support. Is that a cube cow? Yes, the Minecraft cow apparently is in every building. It's how they light their buildings. Another shop? There's so much in this town. Distracting us from all the woes of the world. Many thanks, Kenny. Oh, thanks. I've introduced the woes of this world instead. Hooray! This world's even worse. It'll make real life look good. The lottery shop. Uh-oh, gambling. Gambling? Well, just a small Deku. Do you think that they'll allow it? There's a lot of stuff that they say, oh, I'm sorry, you're a kid. But I feel like you could gamble it, right? You feel like you've had to say that before? Jedi! Wait a second. Are you everybody that I've ever met?
You can't wait, no, he's got a, let's see, he's bald. He's bald. You can't use any of them, but feel free to look around.
I don't know what this guy sounds like. He's got a cool tattoo on his head.
He could have a scary voice.
He looks like Bruce Willis. I don't know what Bruce Willis sounds like. I don't think I've ever seen a Bruce Willis.
J.K. Simmons voice. Okay, Spider-Man. I want pictures of Spider-Man. I want pictures of Spider-Man right now. You can't use any of them, but feel free to look around. Actually, we should have a large bomb bag in stock, but it seems like there was an accident getting it here to the store. I don't know when we're gonna get it now. I want pictures of Spider-Man yesterday!
I wish I could do the J.K. Simmons laugh. Oh, Kenny, I don't think I've ever told you the reason why I don't like Majora's Mask, half because it's 5 stages of grief that you get through this game. Oh yeah, Dragon Bay Wolf, this game should make you very sad. I'm basically, listen, everybody needs to vent emotion, and everybody feels sadness sometimes, so I'm allowing you to vent it on this game. Let's suffer through the story together, and the more we cry, the healthier we'll be at the end. This is me. It's even kind of squished like my head is right now. Hello, welcome to my shop, everyone. So glad to see you. So glad to see myself in this game right now. Welcome. Hey, you're just a Deku Scrub kid. I'm being kind of rude. I like this me. I think I could learn something from this guy. I think he's a little more grown up, maybe a little more wise. Just missing the eyebrow piercing? I mean, that snooty Kenny? Well, at least I have some goals now. Also, why did it zoom in on this guy? Yo, hey baby, I'm a silent scarecrow wandering in search of pleasant music. Time will pass in the blink of an eye if you dance with me. If you like, baby, I can forget the time. We can forget the time and dance until night. No, I'm not gonna. So time skips. I feel like you can't do that with, I know a mysterious song. Do you want to learn it? I don't think I have anything to play it with. Oh yeah, now listen up. If you play the strange song backwards, you can slow the flow of time. Ooh, that's nice. And if you play each note twice in a row, you can move a half day forward in time. How's that? Pretty interesting, isn't it? But I'm sure I'd like any song. Written by you. Written by you better, baby. If you like, you can play one for me. Okay, so this guy will, at some point, allow me to skip days and stuff. That's nice. I guess if you have something to practice on day 3, then you can skip right through it, but I'm guessing you can't beat the game with skips. Me walks into the pouring rain to a musical festival. Dude, hey babe, you need an umbrella? Don't you know sugar melts when it gets wet? Oh, Jedi! Oh, my apologies. My apologies. Ugh, yuck. Ugh, a dubious creature. Ugh. I believe you, Jedi. I believe you. That is disgusting. That's hideous. That's not hilarious. It's hideous. Sugar melts when it gets wet. Ew. Yeah. No. Get a new line, bro. Do we need to escape town? I mean, I know that we're supposed to go to the Great Fairy. Tingle! What's Tingle doing here? Oh my gosh, it's Dr. Onesie himself. Dr. Onesie, what are you doing here? He's so gross. I hate his red nose. Why does he have such a detailed face and a red nose? Oh. Why? Why does he drink so much? Stop drinking. It's clearly bad for your blood vessels. Oh. What's this? Green clothes, white fairies, sir. Could you by any chance be a forest fairy? Oh my. My name is Tingle. I think I'm the same as you, sir. A forest fairy. Alas, I'm already age 35. This will be me in a few years. Alas, though I am already the age of 35, no fairy has come to me yet. My father tells me to grow up and act my age, but why? I tell you, Tingle is the very reincarnation of a fairy. Now while I stand here waiting for a fairy of my own, I sell maps to help out my father. Lucky! You're so lucky to have a fairy. I know, we should be friends. Yes. In exchange, I'll send you a map for as cheap as a sign of my friendship. What is a sign of friendship? Will you buy one of Tingle's maps? Ooh, $5? I don't have any money. You can't with that face? What do you mean? I need to draw Tingle. If I drew Tingle, maybe I could use the sound effect, hello. Hello. That could be the welcome screen. The welcome screen could be Tingle's face, and he's like waving. And anytime that y'all go into chat and you've just arrived, you can get a little hello from our friend Tingle. Hello. I'm not envious at all. He just wants to be buddies. I know. Yeah, he's not envious of the fairy. Tingle, Kolimpa! These are the magic words that Tingle created himself. Don't steal them. Don't steal my magic words. I like them. Dancing. What? Oh, what did you say? What did you just say to me? He kind of cute though? Oh my gosh. Tingle cute? Not a chance. It would be funny to use with someone you already know though. The line? Yeah, that's true. I might use that on a friend. I'm honestly not sure how I'll handle this game. It was my uncle's favorite game. Oh no. I'm sorry to hear that, exquisite toaster. Well, it was something that he loved. You could share the love, maybe. Pulls out bag of sweets. Oh, you're right, dude. Takes umbrella and eats unmelted candy. My Switch is only at 29% battery. Oof. Holy moly, just everyone and their dog is playing Elden Ring. I know. It's a disease. Aren't you gonna play it too, Darren? You're no better. Let's not pretend like you're any better than they are. I'd watch you play Elden Ring. I don't want to pay for that game until I've seen some of it. Sir? Hello, Mr. Fairy. Will you buy one of Tingle's maps? Yaha! Great, a map that I'll have to buy every time. Oh, sorry. Freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land? What? Freshly picked Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. Welcome, I made this slide for the children. Oh, you played some last night? Ooh, what do you think, Darren? Any good? It was all right, but my PC didn't like it. Yeah, I heard a lot of complaints about, like, the... How do I get up here? Well, forget about it. I don't need it. Map stays? Oh, really? Exquisite toaster. Fantastic. I'm not allowed out. Got Legend of Arceus yesterday. I am most pleased. Oh, well done. Well done. Arceus is great. I love it. I have been playing a little bit of it off stream recently. Doing some collecting. I was just walking through the ice area, trying to catch everything, looking for secret Pokemon that were kind of hidden.
Ye who enters the sacred sword leave proof of our encounter.
Proof? Encounter? Oh, so I gotta talk to the owl to get a sword, and then I come back and I prove to the statues that I have it? I think I've already been in here. What's on your face? Oh, nothing, just a mask. Okay, so we're supposed to go north. Let's check our map, shall we? Shall we? Should have some knowledge. Where's my foreknowledge? Where are the maps stored? Is this as good as a map gets? This is all that I learned? Maybe... Oh, is it just at the bottom of the screen? Is that the only benefit that it gives me? Oh, the map's at the bottom right corner. Okay, so that'll just help me, like, leave town and stuff. So, I think that the guard is saying that I have to be an adult to get out of here. Is there some way to, like, age yourself by 30 years?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a moment, Deku Scrub. Have you some errands in the mountains? It's dangerous outside the town walls, so I can't allow a child like you to go alone. Unless you're old enough to carry a weapon, you cannot pass through here without being accompanied by an adult.
Doesn't even have to be my caretaker. Just any adult will do. Okay, so north is the mountains. We need to go east, I think. This is not east. A flary fountain? Oh my goodness. Oh no! The Great Fairy! Oh no! Why is that oh no? Look at them. Oh my gosh. Big Rayman vibes. Big Rayman vibes. I absolutely want to play Rayman Legends on stream. Young one, please hear my plea. I have been broken and shattered to pieces by the masked Skull Kid. Oh no! The Great Fairy! She's broken! She is literally broken. And also Skull Kid, I thought that we heard that Skull Kid wasn't as good as her. Yeah, right. I know it's in totally separate universes than our own, but what time period do you think Zelda's set in? It's gotta be like, maybe Renaissance era? Maybe a little bit earlier. I think that it goes between, like, Renaissance and a little bit earlier, I think, depending on the game, right? Oh, good night, Anne. We'll see you later. Oi, 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 oi. Looking forward to more Anne art. More Anne art soon. Yay, yay, yay. Hooray. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Okay. Please find the one stray fairy lost in town and bring her to this fairy fountain. Ah, just missing one fairy. I have never sensed that it's comparable with any one period. Yeah, there's too many things. There's too many references. I don't know if there's ever been like any steampunky side to this game. I guess that there is, like in Breath of the Wild in particular. And that's supposed to be earlier than this game, right? That's like the earliest game, Breath of the Wild, I think? Or is it later? Like the Sheikah, they have technology that's better than our technology. So I have to find a fairy in town. There's a fairy somewhere. Oh, Breath of the Wild is the last? But what about the Sheikah that were like 1,000 years? It's the last chronologically, but what about 1,000 years back? Let me see. Mayor's residence. I don't like this shifty individual. Actually, she's kind of cute. Never mind. She's kind of just wiggling. I thought that she was crafty for a second, but she's kind of wiggling with joy. Welcome. Do you have some business? The room on the left is the mayor's office. It sounds like they're having some kind of a meeting, I think. Wait a second. Does she love the mayor? The room on your right is a drawing room. It's also called Madame Aroma's office. Thanks. Guess I'll let myself in. Madam. Oh dear, are you a student of the Deku Elementary? Where's your teacher? You shouldn't be here. Field trips go next door. Tell your teacher that. And unforgivable. Unforgivable, I thought you were gone. Oh, King Toadman. 36 hours remain. I don't think we're getting anything done, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to figure out where everything is. Guys, I think we're about to die without even getting that fairy done.
The mayor.
The questionable mayor.
Most of the town folk already have taken shelter without waiting for the mayor's orders. The only ones left are public servants and our committee members. Mr. Mayor and the carnival committee members, please order those who remain to evacuate. You cowards! Do you actually believe the moon will fall? The confused town folk simply are causing a panic by believing this ridiculous, groundless theory.
What is this? It sounds like an environmental issue.
What do you mean? There's no such thing as climate change, not caused by humans anyway. The soldiers couldn't prevent the panic, but went outside the town walls to where the...
Wait, what?
The moon is fake, no chance. The earth is flat and the moon is actually a big biscuit. It's a big biscuit and all we're gonna get is a delicious snack when it finally lands. I'm looking forward to it, to be honest. The soldiers couldn't prevent the panic, but outside the town walls is where the danger is. You want answers? The answer is that the carnival should not be canceled. Isn't that right, Mr. Mayor? No lockdown.
Are you serious, Muto? It seems that a giant chunk of rock apparently hasn't caught your eye. The giant chunk of rock above us hasn't caught your eye. At this time, every year, we're overrun by tourists, so why is the town empty? Clearly, it's your job to ensure that the carnival's operation. But that's if people are here for it. Exactly. You can't reopen an economy if everyone's dead. Also, Jet, how are you doing?
Rocking that hair.
Oh my gosh, is this considered rocking? How are you doing, Jet? It's good to see you. Oi, 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 oi. Nice. Oi, Jet, how are you doing? It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a little bit. I hope you've been doing well, Jet. It's your birthday weekend? Birthday! Happy birthday! Jet Shepherd, happy early birthday. Hooray, hooray! You're gonna be old! Yay! Old! I can't wait to visit you and see how old you really are. You've been really busy? That's all right. You're super busy bean and it's your birthday week. I'm just always happy to see you, Jet, whenever you come by. All right? You just make sure that you come by every now and again, and that will be more than enough. Happy birthday! Yeah, 35, baby, woo! Baby, woo! He's in his Jack Black phase of hair. What's the next phase after Jack Black? After you turn into Jack Black, what happens? That's the question. Why would you, Jet? Jet, no!
The beard, not the beard! The beard!
The beard is after, but Jack Black has a beard. Jack Black has a beard in lots of movies. I'm just gonna become more Jack Black-like.
Clearly it's your job to ensure the carnival's operation, but not if people aren't here for it. Don't drag the merchants and soldiers into this.
Oh, well.
If the soldiers wish to return, then run, Vincent. We councilmen will stick to tradition. The carnival will be a success. I've never heard of a defense unit abandoning this town. Madame Aroma would certainly say the same thing, wouldn't she? Mayor Dotor.
Let's not bring my wife into this. That's his wife. Let's not bring my wife into this.
Me every time that people try to have conversations with me. From Jack Black, you can go towards Chris Farley, then towards Bryan Cranston. Chris Farley had a beard before he died. A Guy Fieri Jack Black combo. Oh, I'd have to shave. Doesn't Guy Fieri just have this? If I want to go to Flavortown, it'll take some. I'd have to very specifically travel there. Have you seen him recently? Wild beard. Ooh, yeah, his beard is cool as heck. Well, if you start the beard, you'll be Lebowski in no time. What do you mean, man? I'm like, come on, man. I just need to say like, man, all the time. Look, I'm not trying to cause trouble, all right? Yeah, dude, Lemonberry, hey, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Lemon, thank you so much for the 29 months. Holy cannoli, we're flying, hooray! How are you doing, Lemonberry? It's so good to see you. I've been showing off all this cute stuff. Didn't you send this, Lemonberry? Didn't you? I hope I'm not wrong. I would feel really bad if I was wrong. Didn't you? I've always been thinking of this as you did. Oh, thank goodness, because I've been thinking of it as a little Lemonberry gift on my desk. I've been showing it off to people. I love it so much. My favorite part about stitch work or paintings and acrylics and stuff is that it's asymmetrical. That's my favorite part, is that it's got little details, like the eyes aren't exactly in the correct spot, but that's how animals are. And like the heart is just a little different. It makes it actually makes it have character, and it makes it feel super special. I love it. He's got a little crooked smile. I know, it's even cuter. It's even cuter. That's my favorite part of handicraft stuff. Marks! Listen here, you little crap. I mean, how are you doing, Merks? Hello! It's good to see you. How are you doing? Oi, oi, oi. It's my favorite bagged milk friendo.
Let's not bring my wife into this.
Shucks. Oi, oi, oi. Merks, how have you been doing?
Are you in school right now?
Are you getting back to school? Are you studying hard?
You better study hard, Merks.
You love that carpet in here? Pretty carpet? Ooh, it is kind of nice. It looks like a slight remix of the carpet in The Shining, right? Doesn't it? Looks kind of like that. Tattle wants something? Thank you, Ted. I think they wanted something outside, right? Oh, I should have listened. I should have listened. They've got a new sound effect. It doesn't go, hey, listen. You've been doing pretty good, and you're studying hard. Nice. Good, good, good. Got a science test next week, but I got to pop in today. Hey, Merks, it's always good to see you. I'm glad that you're getting your studies done. Listen, we'll be able to hang out more during the summer, all right? But for now, I'm proud of you getting your work done. Good, 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 good. It's too late now. Oh, no. I'll be lurking, my love. I have to jump into Cyberpunk, get some hours in before. Ooh, nice. Enjoy, Jet. It was nice to see you. As always, enjoy your game. Let's see. So we need to find a ferry in this... Stupid dog. We need to find a ferry in this town. We can't go left up there. I think I see another door that I haven't gone. It's always good to see your American friendo. Ha-ha!
I'll be your American friendo, Jet. Yeehaw! I'm a Texan.
Down to my very bones. I'm gonna have to find a ferry to revive the fairy queen. But I don't have to look at any of the things that I've already looked at next time. Oh, there's a kid block in the way. Oh, hi there, Ego Check. What? I'm so sorry to hear that. Ego Check, I promise. I'm not a real American. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, I'm not an actual American.
The secret route to our observatory? How do you know about that? Only Jim and I are supposed to know about the secret route.
Okay, so I probably got to do the secret route first, right? Do Texans count as Americans? I mean, I'm kind of a Texan, I guess. I sometimes will get confused for a Canadian. You're digging the Flava Sava? What is Flava Sava? The Flava Sava? The Flava Sava. The savor of the flavor? My mustache? What? The what? Oh! Oh, because, like, soup will get on the mustache. Oh, well, I keep it trimmed pretty short, but, ew, gross. Yucky. I'm so glad that you like it, though. That's disgusting. I don't save flavors on it. That's gross. My dad used to get popcorn in his beard all the time. He'd just be like, nom, 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 nom. And his food would fall into his beard like it was a Big Daddy bib. Big Dad bib. It's kind of gross. So maybe that sullied my view on it. Oops. You've always disliked that name. Well, let's not use it, shall we? Also, hi, Malice. Oi, it's good to see you. My favorite troll. My favorite troll. Malice, the person that I always think of whenever I hear World of Warcraft, D&D, or cosplay. Immediately, Malice comes to mind. Oh, there's something in this corner. Oh. But I still haven't found what I'm looking for. Unexpected YouTube. Hello. I've been looking for a bit now, but I'm done the thing that I'm focused on, so now I can chat. Hey, all right, nice. Welcome, Malice. Got your stuff done. Nice. We're supposed to look for a fairy. We're supposed to look for the fairy so that we can revive the fountain, but we also got to talk to the kids so that we can unlock the observatory route, because I think that's where the fairy is, right? Right. My dad had a mow for like 3 years, and then he like a Fu Manchu. Is that another word for a Fu Manchu? He had a mustache for like 30 years and then shaved it off, and I was like, who are you? My dad did that too. My dad shaved his beard off one random day, and we came home from my grandma's house, and he had no beard, and all of the kids like looked at him like, who is in the living room? Who is this man? It was legitimately disturbing. He had a beard for like almost all of my life, and then he just shaves it off randomly. I went right past it. See, yeah, I can see the mark on the map. Stop! Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. Jet. Go get yourself some game. It's right here. Look, it has a mark on the map right here. Right up there. It's got to be up there, man. You feel kind of vulnerable after having a big beard and shave it off. Oh, yeah, Ego, I actually like that feeling. I do it to like freshen up my attitude. Like if I'm doing really bad, that's whenever I'll make like I'll feel better, and then I will use a shaving of the beard or hair as like an encouragement that I've changed my mind on a subject. That happens all the time. Like throughout my life, I'll be having a problem, I'll solve the problem, and then I'm like, to make sure that this solution sticks, I'm gonna shave off my beard, or I'm gonna grow a beard. That takes way longer though. That Skull Kid has gone too far. We can't let this happen. Quick, we have to find the stray fairy in town and return to the Great Fairy. Yeah. Whoa, look at the time. You don't even have 2 days left. Girl, don't rush me. I feel like it's up here, isn't it? If we ever meet at like 10s or something, you'll understand better. Ooh, yeah. Maybe we'll have an opportunity to meet sometime soon. Ego, are you going to TwitchCon? Deposit mail here. Ka-ching. How do I get up there? Oh, we will definitely meet someday, Ego. There's no... There it is. I saw it. The VIP. Yeah, Malice, you've been a VIP since forever ago. You're a VIP, and oh, thank you for the follow, Jelly Bean follower. Oi, wait a second. Does that mean that you're a Jelly Bean, or I'm a Jelly Bean? Either one is fine with me. Hi there, Jelly Bean. Are you a fan of this game? Nice. I'm a Jelly Bean. Oh, I'm a moving, grooving, something Jelly Bean. Oh yeah. I'm supposed to look for a fairy, but I saw it floating and it disappeared. There was one right here. Music sounding. Ooh! Look at this, a little flower pod. Perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for. Nice. Where do I go? I'm not 100% on board, but we looked at accommodations. Ooh, there's a chance. So you're telling me there's a chance, Ego. Catch you later, folks. Watch out tonight. Forecast says 100% chance of a fallen moon. Shush! Not 100%. A-Star. Okay. It was nice hanging out with you before I was knocked into the ether. Oi, get yourself some good sleep, my friend. Get some good sleep. Nice to hang out, as always. I think we can go up here. Ooh, that's a tight jump.
The secret route to the observatory?
I've already been up here. What? What is the value of that launcher? Ooh, I can hear my stomach making sounds. My stomach spoke. Oh! It's almost here. Oh no. The ferry has 2 locations. Oh, I see. So it changes. That's what I thought was happening. It says you need pizza. Pizza or sushi. Boyong. Boyoyoyoyoyoing. Oh, I like this guy. He's the little speedrunner. Okay, stop now. Oh, he's the mailman. He's moving the mail. Okay, so the ferry's in a different spot. But that little orange mark on the map is still in the same spot. Maybe that orange spot is a treasure chest. And we can't get it yet. Because you got to get up there. The moon wants pizza! No! Jelly Bean, don't give it any of the pizza. Jelly Bean, listen. The moon is exactly like a pet. You're not supposed to feed it. Don't feed it off of the table. Stop slipping scraps to the moon underneath the table. I can see that, Jelly Bean. Don't waste the food. Besides, the moon will get sick if it eats human food. Yes. Everybody welcome in Jelly Bean. Jelly Bean, new friendo. Oh boy. New friend. Oh, well. What do we have here? Wait, hang on. Ooh, look at that big guy. It's got sacks, dude. I gave the moon pizza. No, Jelly Bean, if you give it pizza, it's only gonna beg more. Great, Jelly Bean, you've doomed us all. Now the moon's gonna come to the earth, searching for more pizza. It's like, dang, that DiGiorno's. I might have to end this whole world for a DiGiorno. The town's carnival is starting to look a little iffy. I'm thinking of closing up the shop so I can get a gift for my wife and return to her in my village. I have heard that a stone called the Moon's Tear shines brighter than any other in the land. If you've got one, I'd really like to get it from you. My wife would love it. If you give it to me, I'll give you my spot here, Deku flower included. Okay, so I have to give him a moonstone. You don't have one. You're a Deku scrub too, so you know how useful a Deku flower can be. If you don't hurry, I'll give it to another Deku scrub. The early scrub gets the nut. The early scrub gets the nut, as they say. And I'm guessing that will, like, allow me to get up this tower or something? It'll give me a benefit. Well. As a Deku seed, I am always looking for the nut. Pretty sure that moon's about to head to the pizza aisle here on Earth and end us. Whenever the pizza gets hungry, we all suffer. Also, there's a new square in the middle. Look, there's an orange square now. What is that? So is that a treasure chest up there? I don't get it yet. It is. I see a treasure chest up there, and I see it right there, too. Okay. I have now confirmed that those are not missions. We've already been over here. I think I'm gonna have to go grab water in a second. Look at this frog's eyes. Can I speak to him? Good gracious, what is up with this frog? Why does he look like this? Not pineapple. Uh-oh. Pineapple on the pizza? That's the only way to scare the moon away. We're doing it for our own safety. When was this game made? Oh, there's a fairy. It was made 1998 or something? I died? Okay, so I can like bounce across the water for a little bit. Nice.
Please hear my plea. The masked skull kid has broken me apart and shattered my pieces. Please find a way to return me the love.
Yeah. I got you. Who ordered pineapple on the pizza? Listen, it's poison for the moon. We ordered the pineapple pizza, Jelly Bean, so that whenever the moon gets down here to steal our pizza pies, then he'll go black and he'll head right out of here. 1997, ooh, good year. Also, Salty Sander, hi there. Salty Sander, wait a second. Did you change your name? Do I know you? You've chatted here before. Did you change your name? I like it. Okay, the Great Fairy is... Good thing that we've got the pineapple, you guys. We have the pineapple on the pizza. We will be safe from the moon. He doesn't stand a chance. Night of the final day. 12 hours remain. Good. Let's figure out what happens. Maybe I'll get a nice Hawaiian pie for Din Din. I don't love the Hawaiian pies, but I do like pineapple on a pizza. No, I raided to you a while ago by Salty the Alien. Oh, Salty Sander, it's good to see you again. We love Salty. Salty's such a good bean. It's nice to see you again. Oi, oi. This is a good game so far. But I'm kind of scared. This game seems difficult. Hawaiian pizza. Yum, 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 yum. She's back. There's only one piece left. Her scream is so scary. Tattle. Tattle, and you, young one, from the altered... Oh, the one of the altered shape. Thank you for returning my broken and shattered body to normal. My broken and shattered body. Relatable. I am the Great Fairy of Magic. I thought that masked child was helping me, and I grew careless. All I can offer you now is, I shall grant you magical power as a sign of my gratitude. Please accept it. Soup. He's giving me superpowers. Superpowers, the power to summon soup at any time. And it's assured to be good soup, no matter what. Definite good soup on demand via prestidigitation. Oh, she is sharp. You could cut yourself. You better look out. Don't touch her. She's pokey. Pokemon? You've been granted magical power. I can make bubble blasts. All right, I'd be blasting bubbles. Nice. 69 funny number. Oh! There needs to be a sound alert for whenever you give 69 bits. That needs to be a thing. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. If you ever are returned to your former shape, please come see me. I will give you more help. My queen! My beautiful queen! She said, Oh my gosh. It's just the sound compression, okay? That's the only reason that it's bad. It's just the compression. She could be brought back to normal. Ultimately unrelatable. That's true, Nardavel. That's true. There's always a darker side to it. But now I can use bubble magic. But how? Nice. He's like, whoa. You gonna let me be part of the gang now, buddy?
Are you the one that just popped that up there? Not bad for a Deku scrub. We bombers have a hideout that leads to the observatory outside town. You need a code to get in. Maybe I'll tell you what it is. But don't think you're getting it that easily. I can't just tell you what the code is. You'll have to pass my test first.
Are you ready? I'm ready to get gang affiliated.
All right, line up, guys.
Look at all these Cailloux. Caillou with a wig.
If you can find all 5 of us by tomorrow morning, I'll teach you the code.
Okay.
That's not gonna happen. Sorry about that.
Are you ready?
That kid just fell down. He's gonna be the easiest to find. He's right here. Hey, what? You have to catch him?
Oh, you caught me. Now there's only 4 left.
Are they brothers or clones? I'm thinking they're clones. He fell down. There's another one over here. Here I come, shuffling in.
Oh, you caught me. Now there's only 3 left.
Here he comes. That's the sound of a Deku with bare feet running on tile towards you. Better look out. Here I come. Where are these kids hiding? Wait a second. They don't know Nardavel? What? Doesn't this kid have bigger problems? They haven't looked up at the sky yet. They have no idea. You'd think that they'd know if the sky was blue or if the sky was moon. But ain't nobody looking up. That's because everybody's focused on their own problems in this town. They never just care about like the fate of the world and stuff like that. They're too focused on their own little tiny lives. Shucks. Nice. Okay. They're not all in the same room, right? I don't think so. I don't think so. That'd be too easy. Oh, there's one of them.
Oh, you caught me. Now there's only 2 left.
2 left, eh? I bet you that there's one that's really hard to find. Bet you the rest of them, it's a walk in the park, and then there's one little rascal that's impossible to find. I'm gonna go this way. It's another area. I'm trying to remember where they are. Surely there's a kid over here, right? Come on, this is a perfect secret spot. Nothing but a frog. Never mind. Never mind, there's no kid. I had a foam cozy when I was younger, and it was a 3D face. The moon kind of reminds you of it. Ooh, yeah, it's so blocky. That moon's nose is as sharp as a needle. And it can smell even better than a needle. Aw, no! Uh-oh. This is like Banjo-Kazooie. We're gonna have to see the game over screen a bunch of times. Why are y'all starting this? No! Oh, boy. Ooh, is that for a big drum? Party time, party time, party time. Their necks hurt. They can't look up. That's true, Salty. They can't, or I should call you Sander. It's true, Sander. They can't look up. Rest in peace, rest in peace. Lorp is gonna die. La 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 la. Deku-chan. Oh, wait. Oh, we still got 5 minutes. Let's find those kids. Let's find those kids and get that code. A hint? What kind of hint? Oh, there's a kid. Can't see where the kid's at. Come back here, you rascal. Gotta corner him. He can run into areas that I can't go? Oh my gosh. I see you. I see you. They're zooming. Okay, we got one more. If we can get one more, then that means that whenever we revive, or whenever we try again, we can go to the observatory. That's what I want to do. One of them was hiding in a box. I may have already found all the obvious ones, and the rest are going to be a little outlandish. I also have a bubble that I can shoot now, in case there's something to hit. Like this balloon, but we already got that balloon. Okay, we already caught 4 of them. I don't think that they're going to give me a hint. Otherwise, I would talk to them. I've only got 3 minutes. This kid's blocking the way. Chicken, chicken, chicken. I've already seen the last one. There's the last one. I can hear that chicken. I can hear a delicious chicken. Mmm, chicken salad.
Oh, no way. You finally got me.
All right, our code.
You're pretty good for a Deku scrub. If only you were human. Then I could give you the original Bomber's Notebook and make you a member. What do you guys think?
No way, no scrubs.
I guess not. Once we let in some kid that isn't human,
Boy, did we regret it. Wait, last time. Okay, so they probably let Skull Kid in, eh?
But I'll teach you the code, just like I promised, so that I can tell you only once, though. So pay close attention. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 15432, the entrance to our hideout.
So is this a standard, is that a code that is exclusive to my playthrough? Or is that a code that works for all playthroughs? It's different every game. It would take a long time to decode that. That would be very frustrating. But you could do it because it's only one of the numbers each unique time, right? So it could be like, you know, it can only start with 1 to 5, and then the next number can only be everything but that number, right? It would take a while. It'd take a while to decode, but it could be done.
If you want to pass through here, you'd have to say the secret code.
Yeah, because normally to pick a lock, it would take a little while. It depends on how much dialogue this guy has, because you would probably start with. See, because it can't be, normally you would pick a lock by leaving the first number and then going through these. So then you do 2, then you do 3, 4, 5, and then you go back to 1, then you do 2, and you like click all the way through here. But it's even easier if they can't be the same numbers. It was what, 5, 1, no, it was 1, 5, sorry. 1, 5. I mean, I have it saved. I took a screenshot in case I forget. Okay.
That's right. If you know the code, then you remember, right? Okay, here you go.
It's 80085. That's what it was. Thank you for the reminder.
There's lots of cool stuff at the telescope guy's place. Oh yeah, and the Bomber Secret Society of Justice Forever.
You guys are so helpful. Thank you. I couldn't ask for a better chat. Y'all are just a pile of good ideas. Okay, this does not look like an observatory. This looks like a dungeon. Not gonna lie. Also, I love the little hop, hop, hop on the water. Looks like it's based on time, not jumps. Oh, hello. This is a Zelda game now. I hit him. Okay, I was forgetting the attack move. Okay, we're running out of time, but that's fine. I wonder how the astronomer knows the Skull Kid. Whoa, look at the time. You don't even have half a day left. Girl, I don't got a minute left. Just learning. What? Hey. Here. We couldn't ask for a better streamer? Well, maybe Oops. What? Tay! Tay, how dare you? How dare you? I am so deeply offended. No comparisons. No comparisons allowed. Ooh, wait a second. So can, like, that thing punch the moon in the face? Ah. Punch him. Punch it. Hit it. No, it's not even trying. The town's not even fighting back. They just accepted death. No. Bye. Bye, world. Also, if the moon collided with the Earth, wouldn't that kill everybody? Because it would, like, throw the Earth off of its axis or something, right? Ah, yes. Oh, no. Those ice caps don't stand a chance. I don't know. I have 2 Opes mugs and a sticker. What? Alchemic, I said I'm working on merch. You've met a terrible fate. I said I'm working on merch, okay? It's happening. I've already got some merch exclusive art done. It's true. And a few of my friends are making merch too. I don't know if I can say who because I don't know if they've announced it, but I've got some friends that are making merch. And it has encouraged me. I've already opened a shop. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I just want to make sure that it's worth it. I don't want to reuse a bunch of art. I don't want to make just boring copy pasta stuff. I don't want to make like crappy color options. I want to make sure that it's really good stuff. I need to be able to order it myself and make sure that I like how things fit and things are printed, because I want it to be high quality stuff. I don't want any cash grab, copy paste image bin business. We're gonna get some exclusive art and we're gonna make it look beautiful, because I want y'all to have good stuff. I don't want it to just be supporting me. I own a Happy Mask shop. Okay, so we're already back. Already back, baby. There was a Kurg's video about what would happen if the moon hit the Earth recently, but I didn't watch it because I thought it would scare me. Oh, don't worry. That's not how the Earth will end. You're looking forward to it? Will you make enamel pins? I don't think that the company that I'm going through lets you do pins initially, but you can eventually. And I could maybe, I don't know how the website works, but I could maybe make like listings somewhere, or I could do exclusive releases where I buy the pins and then I ship them out myself. And hey, it's Lynn's! Basketball season is over, and you celebrate it with a shot. Oh, a shot. Hang on, I might have to go get a claw. Wait a second. We can have a sip together. Let's see. I might have to drive to get pizza. I should be able to burn off the claw before then. Who'd you shoot, Lynn's? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna go grab a little drinky real quick. I'll be right back. Everybody, get yourself a water, a juice, a drink, whatever. Let's toast to Lynn's being done, baby. Lynn's is done with basketball. Okay, be right back. Forgot to put the case in the fridge. Whoops. I forgot to put it in the fridge, but now it is. I got a case of only watermelon ones. Also, I haven't eaten much today, so this might turn me up a little bit. Sure, you guys. Which headphone? This one. Is it possible to toast with a water bottle? Absolutely. Get any drink, water, juice, lemon. You know, you could get a fruit if you want to. Just get a fruit and just tap it to the screen and then just squeeze it into your mouth. That's liquid, right? I do have ice cream though. See, exactly. Ice cream totally counts. You can toast to that. Let's see. Celebrate with any beverage. Indeed. Cheers. Boom. Cheers, because Lynn's is now not having to do basketball practice, so Lynn's can hang out with us more. Yay! Yay, 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 yay. You'll get another one to do it again? Oh my gosh, Lynn's! Is Lynn's gonna be able to mod? Wait a second. You have a gin and coke? Nice! All right, let's all toast to Lynn's being free to hang out with us more. We missed you, Lynn's! I missed you every moment that you were gone. You gotta cheers with y'all. All right. Wait a second. We gotta wait for Lynn's. We gotta wait for Lynn's to pour up. Oi, oi, oi! Hey!
Pizza away, whatever tipped $20.
Thank you so much! Oh my goodness. I think we will get pizza. Oh, pizza time. Pizza, pizza, pizza. Thank you so much. I'm not sure who did that, but thank you so much for the pizza. Oh my goodness, you know who you are. Thank you so much. That's so generous. Oh my goodness. It's a pizza. All right, you're ready. Okay, cheers to Lynn's. Much love. We love you, Lens. Kanpai. That's like cheers in Japanese. Kanpai. All right, let's end this world again. We all cheersed, we all drinkies. Nice. Marissa, I love that emote so much. It's so sassy. The sassiest emote that I've got. During my travels, very important. Okay, he's telling me the same stuff. So now we know we probably have to find the ferry again. Now I want pizza. Tay, you should get some. Can you get some pizza? Tay, you need to eat pizza with us. Y'all already know that I'm not gonna eat on stream, but you can just eat it after the stream and just imagine that you're eating it on the stream. Prost is Dutch for cheers. Yeah, Prost. I thought that was German too, right? Or I could have swore that I saw like a video of Germans saying that, right? Is it the same thing? Prost?
I'm sure you'll find it.
Okay, buddy. I don't know why you're counting on me. I feel like he knows that time is resetting. It's got to be like his incantation, right? I'm pretty sure that he already knows what's going on. Okay. So I wonder if... Okay, go away. I wonder if the ferry's available immediately. We also don't have the map. So the map doesn't stay because I don't see it. Am I being dumb, or do I need to get that map again? Okay, now we're getting it, you guys. Now we're getting it. We're making our first steps. Your first steps into a larger world. But there's money right next to Tingle anyway. I think I might be kind of going the long way around. Because I don't quite remember. I was kind of staring at the map a little too much. There's Tingle. We don't need to get the code again, because we already got it. Do it, Tay. You won't. You won't. Coward. You wouldn't buy pizza. You wouldn't download a house. You wouldn't download a pizza. You wouldn't steal a car. I mean, probably not. That commercial's a little suspect. Oi, Tayaki's here! Yay, Tayaki! I missed you. Tayaki-san. How are you doing? How you doing, Tayaki? I was just looking at your art today. I was looking at your beautiful art. It needs to be hung up on my wall. It's gonna go either back there or it's gonna go over there. I just need to get a hanger for it. It's good to see you, Tayaki. Oi. Welcome, welcome. What's this? Green clothes, white fairy. Oh my. Okay, we're just gonna skip through this. And I'm pretty sure that the map is the top one. Yep, good, good, good. Did I mention that I applied for partner? Ooh, Darren, I hope that you get partner. You deserve it, my friend. You've got style, you've got grace, you've got the viewership, you've got it figured out. I'm so excited. Now we're waiting. Ooh, I hope that you get it, Darren. That would be so exciting. More slots for Darren. You deserve it. You'd make a fine partner, my friend. A fine partner indeed. I'm looking forward to seeing that check mark next to your name. Come on, brother. Twitch better know what they're missing. Twitch better look at that partner application and say, finally. I hope that Opes has Twitch staff allies. Oh no, the Great Fairy. I actually didn't check the location. I didn't check the location to make sure that you have to talk to the fairy first. I kind of feel like you don't have to. I kind of feel like that's not necessary. You could probably just run to the spot, right? But I also thought they might not let it spawn. They might not let it spawn until you talk to the fairy. You only have 3 days, and I know that there's like a bunch of worlds that you have to go to. Kind of be a lot to ask. I don't know if this is the fastest way, but we need to go to the south because I think that's where the ferry is right now, over the water. This is a really, really cool idea for a game. because I don't normally speedrun things, but this game is like a speedrun. So it kind of... Oh, also, hi, Displaced Salad. I don't think that I said your name. I'm sorry. Oi, oi. Displaced Salad, it's so good to see you. I remember Displaced Salad hanging out with us so much. Always seeing Displaced Salad nearby. How are you doing? So good to see you. Thank you for the lurk. I appreciate it. Yeah, but this game's making me think about how to speedrun the days already. Even with like one piece of information. Feel like it's faster to go through less doors. It has to be. Yeah, it's way faster to just walk up. I should have gone straight south. Okay. I don't have to pop that balloon, I don't think, unless there's like a balloon popping mission that has to be done, but I haven't heard about that yet. Hey, Tin, good morning. It's good to see you. Oi, oi, oi. Tin, good morning. It's morning. Everybody wake up. Get your coffee. Remember whenever I told you that we were cheersing? I meant that you had to get some caffeine. Okay. One with altered shape. She's gonna give me some powers. And we can go straight to the observatory after that. Because I already know that there's a balloon to pop. It's 3 a.m.? Oh my. So are you in Deutschland? Are you Dutch, Salty Sander? Or do you just happen to know some Dutch? Ooh. You've been granted a magical power. Nice. I got some bubbles. Got bubbles to blast. And I'm gonna need them right in the observatory again. I don't remember what it did, but I need it. You are Dutch. Ooh, more friendos from all around the world. Yay. Nice, nice, nice. Salty Sanders staying up late. Staying up late, just like you're supposed to. Late nights are the best nights. I don't even want to tell y'all how late I was up last night. You've had 2 very large ones today already. No more coffee for me or I'll die. Okay, no, never mind. Not you, Calico, not you. I want you to be healthy now. Is it 2, 3? No, it can't be 2, 3, 4. That's too simple. Maybe 2, 4, 3. No, I messed it up. Okay, I know that it's 1, 5. Yeah, this would take a long time to crack this code. 1, 5. Oh, it's 1, 5, 4. Okay, that is relatively easy to remember. 4, 3, 2. I never realized how simple that was. 1, 5, 4, 3, 2. Nice. You got a lucky one, just like I think Calico said that. It is lucky. You drank 2 cups of espresso? Ooh! I tried espresso for the first time whenever I visited Florida. I'd never tried it before. I didn't even know what it was. But I got an espresso and it's really good. It was actually tasty. I was kind of worried that it was going to be too, like, robust. It was nice and tasty. I would definitely have another espresso. Hacker voice. He's in. What's a hacker voice? Is a hacker voice Russian? He's in. He's hit the mainframe. We don't talk about Russia. Okay, can I? Oh, maybe I have to shoot him, actually. I like this. Okay, I think that we need bubbles. We can't do our little spinny attack. Okay, that's too far away, I think. Yep. I don't think I even got to pop this balloon last time, so I don't know what it does. Whoa! Did something just pop out? Maybe it was just blocking the way. Oh, wrong button. This is slightly confusing because, like, the B button does camera things. It's very odd. There's no jump button in this game, just like in Ocarina. The fact that the Deku bounces off of the water reminds you of Psychonauts. Ooh, that's a game that I haven't played yet. I've heard that it's really good and that the story's really funny and, like, well written. Do we have any players of Psychonauts in the chat? I know they just released the second one. Or they, like, released the long-awaited sequel and lots of people were really excited and said it was good. Maybe we need to play Psychonauts. Never played it. I've never even seen it played. But I have a lot of friends that love it. That and Jet Set Radio. I don't know why I tie those two together. I think I had a friend that liked both. Jet Set and... let's see. The second one is one of your favorite games. Really? So it was good. Nice. I heard about that. The Sheikah Stone. Does this give me advice? It's like my heart is being peered right into. That's a disturbing eye. It is. I think we gotta hit it. Because they do different things if you hit them with different stuff, right? Well, because you can, I think that you put a bomb on them and they turn into like a rocket or something. They're very silly. Okay, it's something that we gotta do. Oh, Tal is talking to me. Tattle. I wonder how the astronomer knows the Skull Kid. Whoa, look at the time. I know, I'm trying my best. Okay, maybe he's in here and I just didn't notice him. The Astral Observatory.
Night of the first day, 60 hours remaining.
Oh, is that the guy? What is this? Oh, that is what... Oh, it's Darren! Darren? Looks so elderly. That is one of the lunar rocks that has been blazing from the surface of the moon lately. It's one of the lunar rocks that's been blazing from the surface of the moon. They fall from what looks to be the moon's eye, so we call them the moon's tears. They are rare stones valued by many in town. Okay, so this stone, we need to get it because that's what the Deku guy in town wants, so that we can get into that little the little patch. I'm guessing that the treasure chest has a weapon in it, and then we'll be able to escape town. Well, a strange-looking child has joined me today. Are you a new friend of the bomber gang? Your manners seem much better than your mischievous friends from the other day. That ill-mannered troublemaker from the other day said that he'd break my instruments. He said that he'd steal my moon tear. There was no stopping him. Even now, just watch him. He's probably causing trouble around the clock tower. Will you gaze into the telescope? Certainly. Kuya Cat, welcome back. You got pizza? Ooh, what toppings did you get? If you don't mind me asking. Yum, yum. Uh-oh. Who are you? Just kidding. We know exactly who that is. Skull Kid, is he summoning the moon? He's crying. Ooh. Right outside. Nice. Okay, now we can probably go. Is she shaking his butt at us? Very childish. Skull Kid living up to his name. A literal child. Well, did you find that troublemaker? And what was that loud noise? Perhaps another moon tear has fallen nearby. Go by the door and take a look outside. You streaming this weekend? I don't know. I might be. I'm gonna be so tempted to play this game. Because I am very excited. Very excited. We'll have to see. I'm not sure. I do have some friends that are trying to demand my time. But I want to play this game with you guys. It's the moon's tear. Yay, he's crying. Yay, the moon's sad. And how do I... Oh, I need to go down. This game is one that really keeps you, is one to keep playing and playing. Yeah, I'm loving it. Like I said, it's like, it's teaching you how to speedrun. So each time that you play it, you can get better at it. I mean, I guess any game's like that, but this one really feels like you could optimize stuff. The crickets were making the song in the background. Ooh. So now do I have to walk all the way back and give that... Oh, I guess I could have talked to the guy about the moon thing. There's meta progress that gets made? Yeah, it's not maps. I was told that maps were like... So this is like a roguelite. I remember you talking about that earlier, Darren, and chat was confusing you. Roguelite means that it resets every time, but then there's like metagame progress. And roguelike is like purely purely, you have to redo it every single time. You get no progress. And most games nowadays that are roguelikes have some roguelite elements in them too. So it's kind of up to your determining which one you'd call it. Josh and I have been playing a lot of Spiritfarer. Ooh, I have some friends that played that game. It's really sad, right? Isn't it sad? It's sad and like heartfelt. You hear the stories of all these like creatures. Boy, Alchemic, do you have any plans this weekend? I know that you want to go watch. What's it called? It's even a game. I know this game. What game is it? It's Uncharted. You want to watch Uncharted tonight? Ooh, yes. You got any plans, friendo? Sad but beautiful. It's about loss and death, but in a good way. You're gonna go watch Uncharted in about 45 minutes. Oh my gosh. I just want to do one more day, okay? We're gonna do one more landing of the moon. I told you today would be a little bit shorter. I think we're gonna let the moon land one more time. But we'll see. I'll keep y'all updated for this weekend. But I will be playing in the week, on the weekdays for sure. This is my private property. I forget what his voice is. I've already sold all of my wares and the carnival hasn't even begun. I heard that there's a moon tier. I have one. I need to put it on my... Oh wait, you put it like that? There we go. Ah, that stone. You must hand it over to me. In exchange, I'll give you my spot here. And a Deku flower included. Okay, now we can fly. We can grab the treasure. I don't know what the treasure's gonna do, but I'm excited. As soon as he gets home from golfing, we're gonna play more. Ooh, nice. I didn't know that there were golf courses in Guam. I guess anywhere that the U.S. military is probably a golf course, right? It's about loss and death, but in a comforting way. That's good. That sounds like Spiritfarer is good for the soul. She hasn't set eyes on jewels or She hasn't set eyes on a jewel or strange sparkly stones like this in a long time. The title deed for this spot. The title deed. We could sell it. My plans for the weekend are going shopping and some things. I need some new shoes. Nice. Some fresh drip, some new kicks. I've been thinking about getting some new shoes recently. I think I want some loud and obnoxious shoes. Thinking I might get some red shoes. Because I only have black and white shoes right now. I think I might get some red sneaks. Yahoo! Go for a ride. Go for a ride. Can we get over there? Oh, it's a little rough there. A little rough there. I don't know. Oh yeah. Question for everybody. But also to Alchemic. Have y'all tried out the Lost Ark? Because I'm thinking about picking it up. And Salty plays it. So I think I'm gonna go to the server that Salty's on. So oh, you have played Lost Ark. Oh, are you on the server that Kuri's on? I know that you got to get up there. Let's talk to the guy in the middle first. He might have something special to say. Are you on Kuri's server? Oh no, that's not the one that Salty's on. Kuri says that she isn't gonna play it too much, so I don't know if it'd be worth going on that one. There's too many servers. Also, I know Felix is not gonna be on the right one. It's gotten bigger again. This is bad. There's another platform for you to hit to? Ah. Yeah, I need to look around. Can't you like hold this and like aim a little bit? Yeah, okay. You can't look. Yeah, Felix is an entirely different region. Felix is out of this world. Okay, we could definitely land here, but it doesn't seem like I auto jump very well. Remember, you're a Deku, so why don't you try using this Deku flower? Whoa, look at the time. Oh, I'm using it. See, I feel like I should be able to jump this. I guess not. Where else can I land? Is that one? It's got to be from there, right? Maybe we can fly all the way there. Oh, maybe I can get that heart container. You're too invested in your current character. You pick Striker. Oh, you're not too invested. Oh, I see. Not too invested. Yeah, I've heard that it's a really good idea to like wait a long time for it said that it opens at midnight. Piece of heart. Nice. Thanks for the tip, Bango. I mean, Darren. Bango! Oh, this game. Hey, what's up, Steve? How are you doing? It's good to see you, Steve. How are you doing? Yes, this game. It's been released on Switch. I have to give it a try now. Gotta give it a try. There's no way that we can make it over there because he starts going like, ear, ear, ear. Look at him. He's struggling. Can't make it. Maybe there's something else that we need to change. A streamer buddy of mine played it for the first time. They are struggling. Yeah, I'm playing this for the first time too. And I think I'm struggling a bit. You may switch to another class. You're very interested in Mage. Ooh, I've heard that Mage is really, really fun. I think that's what Salty is. Salty's playing on the server... Atkins is the server that Kuri's on, and Salty's on Azina. I think I might make a character on Azina. I think that's what I'm gonna do. It's gotta be another trick, right? Oh, there's a different guy up here now. I didn't even think about how different days would, or different times of day would net different people to talk to.
Brock, I wonder if this'll make it.
I wonder if this'll make it. I wonder if we can bounce off of somebody. What if we landed directly on top of them? Yeah, Steve, it is kind of like a roguelike game. I was just saying that earlier. Yeah, it's like almost a roguelike, and then it also like forces you to want to speedrun it. It's really cool. I like it so far. Okay, he doesn't help me at all. It's not... Oh, it's North America East. Oh, yes. And Salty's in the West, and apparently it still runs really well. Really low lag. It shouldn't be too bad. Hey, I've got a bubble. So right now, I've got a bubble, I've got a hit, and I feel like everything that I've done leads to this, right? The door to the clock tower opens once a year at midnight on the eve of the carnival. Okay, so we need to make sure that we're there on the eve of the carnival. But this right here has got to be like a treasure that matters. I thought that there was a treasure that's at the top of here. I could have swore that I actually saw it. Maybe it appears on a later day. I think it does. I think that this might be an opportunity to leave town in future runs because there was definitely a treasure chest right here. I remember this. Remember there being a treasure. So I think that maybe spawns on a different day, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do today on the 2nd because I don't... But could it really be that you have to wait that long for a weapon? The other thing is up here. But I haven't gotten any new abilities that would help. Whoa, Honey and Darling's shop? Yeah, we should check out the other shops. Honey and Darling. It looks like we have a visitor, Honey. I wonder if it's a customer, Darling. What shall we do, Honey? From what I can see, he doesn't seem to be able to carry bombs. Oh my, then he can't play, can he, darling? Oh, I see how it is. I see how it is, bomb supremacy. Have fun, y'all are, you're all doing what you need to. Exquisite Toaster, you too. You too, I hope that we see you soon. Much love, Exquisite Toaster. Enjoy the rest of your evening or afternoon. We will see you soon. We better. All right, let's go to the shop. I don't think we've gone in here yet. Maybe he's got some... Oh, we have not gone in here. Kind of wiggling. Oh, what a cute little customer. So do you want to play? It's only 10 rupees? But what's the game? What's the game? What am I getting shystered into? If you can make it all the way to the treasure chest and open it within the time limit, I'll give you a special prize. Finding out what's inside is half the fun. So is this a memorization game where I'm going to have to play it multiple times to get it? How am I supposed to know where you can step? Squid Game. Squid Game vibes. Squid Game. Okay, you just gotta run. Go, 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 go. Alright, this is not memorization. It's just a maze. Ah! You, no! Dead end! No! Dang it. I made the wrong choice. I chose poorly. I went straight for it. You gotta go to the right side. Aw, shucks. Sorry, shuckers. Of course, it's the inconvenient way. It's this way. No, I'm so close. No. Ah, I was bamboozled. I need 10 more coins and I can do it. I can do this. But I don't have no money. I don't have any freaking money. All right, so there's a treasure chest. Random reward, maybe? Hey, J Ranger, it's good to see you. The spin move moves faster. Does seem kind of speedy. Yeah, I should just be whacking everything around town. We need 10 bucks. 10 bucks. Is this the speedrun strat? Have you ever seen speedruns in this game, Darren? Do they just do this constantly? Oh my gosh. I hate that. I hate that whenever a game makes extra movement that goes faster so that all the speedrunners are like, all right, you know what to do. Now we gotta do this all the way. Like Link jumping to the side, right? In Ocarina, isn't that the fastest way to move? Whenever you're an adult? As a kid, you roll. It's a spin to win. Oh. Pay to win, spin to win. This is a nightmare. I'm only gonna do that whenever I need to, obviously. Somehow I turned on closed captioning and it rendered sorry suckers as R shucks. It probably knows. It knows too much. It knows that I say shucks all the time. Alright, let's go. Yeah, you don't have to do it all the time. Alright, I get the message, Darren. I'll do it all the time. Darren's like, you don't have to use world record strats all the time. This background music always hits me with nostalgia. Ooh, did you play this game whenever you were younger, Tayaki? I feel like I'm the youngest one in this chat right now. I was way too young for any of these games. I'm just a baby. But I have listened to this music a lot as actual like background music and stuff. All right, this time I know how to do it. Let's do it. We got this. His little walking noises, I know it's like. All right, here we go. Baby Kenny. Is that the way? Then it's fixed. What? Oh, it's different every time. No! I thought that I could memorize it. No, you have to be smart, but I'm not smart. I'm not ready for a challenge like this. No. This is gonna be difficult every time. No! So close. Oh my gosh. This is a nightmare. It is random. Oh, it's like those it's like that stupid chart game in Wind Waker. It's the Wind Waker chart game all over again, but it's less like Minesweeper and more like Pain. You're surprised that the time mechanic didn't make you stressed back then? Oh, yeah. It kind of stressed me out a little bit, but I think I was more annoyed that I couldn't figure it out. I think I was too dumb as a kid. I couldn't figure out how to do anything. Heidi, what's up? How are you doing? It's good to see you. Oi, 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 oi. Welcome to Majora's Mask. Good to see you, Heidi. Hope you're having a good day. It's good to see you again. You're tired? Ooh, time for bed. Heidi, get out of here. Go take a nap. Nap. I'm not too tired, but I am starting to get hungry. Okay, no treasure chest up there yet, I don't think, right? What's got you so tired, Heidi? Did you stay up all night? Oh, it's 3 a.m. Okay, well, that explains it. I think that's pretty reasonable. Pretty reasonable of you. Be a little tired at such a late hour or early. So there's still a treasure chest over there. I guess I'll see whenever the treasure chest pops up. There's this. Is there a flower in here? There is. But that seems a little far, right? Isn't that a little far? I don't know if we can get that. Feels like this game might have easier, I wonder if I can get past him. I'm betting not. Ooh, I see. Seems like this game will have easier heart pieces because you're timed. Wait, do heart pieces stick with you? Using an emulator? Nope. I'm using my Switch. They just released it on Switch now. Deku Scrub Playground down this hole. Oh joy. Playground time. Does this one shoot higher? Nope. Huh. That's just to get out of there, eh? I know, yeah. It is basically an emulator. Yeah, it's a legal emulator. And it's on your Switch. You'd have to put homebrew on one of these bad boys or something. And I don't want to mod my Switch. It's almost time for Clock Tower. I thought that it was the night of the festival that it opens. Or did it say midnight every night? Playground. It's time to change the setup. Go home. Is this just a way to make money, maybe? Midnight Festival Day? Yeah, I think it's only the last day. But yes, it is an emulator, but it is quite nice. Quite nice. Able to play Majora's Mask whenever you want now. Land on this tree just for fun. Emulators are legal? Yeah, technically emulators are legal, but ROMs are normally illegal. That's what sites get busted for. There's no emulator websites that get in trouble. It's always the ROM hosters that get it. Sorry, I walked away for a moment. My phone decided it was update time. Hey, time for an iOS update. Wait a second, you can get up here. Jump. Jump. Can I not jump at all? Do you have to do this as a human being? Mobile users shaking my head. Get a PC already. Stop. I was doing that for fun. I don't even need you, kid. Yeah, it seems like you've got to be maybe a human being for that. Saving acorns till you get 2,000. Ooh, J Ranger. He's saving up for a prize. What's this prize that you're trying to get? Mayor's residence. I already went there. It's just the mayor arguing. I don't think we have any use for that yet. We need our treasure chest. Thanks for the ride, Calico. Thanks for the free ride. Appreciate the vacation, finally. I think we already got what this does, right? Can't remember what it did, but it did something real good. Whee! Okay, that's the treasure chest minigame. I kind of want to go back to the shop. This is the shooting gallery, and we need a bow and arrow, I'd bet. Right? No. Your phone's an Android, so it wasn't even a good update. What? But Androids have good updates. Androids are so customizable. Okay, friends, Mr. Jedi and I are going to find dinner. All right, enjoy. As we are out of town for the first time in a year. When are you coming to my town, Jedi? Oi, oi, oi. No, you'll probably miss the end, but that's all right. Enjoy your dinner. It's good to see you, Jedi. I'm glad that Twitch is working for you. I missed you. Oi, oi, oi. Enjoy dinner. Yahoo! In June, ya goober. Hooray! Still no treasure chest. Am I crazy? I think I might be crazy. Could have swore that I saw a chest up here one time. Tonight is... Oh, it says second, so it's almost the third day? Oh, no. Shucks. Oh, boy. So at midnight, the clock tower will open. Who knows what's in there? Maybe I'll get my ocarina or something. I feel like that would solve some issues. Either an ocarina or a weapon. Clocks. Nothing but a bunch of gears in there. Just a bunch of gears in a tower. I'm disappointed. I was expecting something better. Okay. So we already know some of the things that we need to do. Again, I'm playing this game blind, so I am learning things like a child would learn. This has a menu because it is a milk bar. I would like to, yeah, I want to go to the store. Stock pots in. Okay, I want to go to the store with the guy that looks like me. Not there, that's the mayor's residence, pretty sure. Okay, I'm memorizing this town. We'll get it. Let's see, that's a treasure chest game. That's a shooting gallery game. So those are here on the east of town. The center has some shops, I think. Okay, now the treasure chest is there. I'm not crazy. Okay, there is a treasure chest up there. Let's see what's there. It's gotta be some late game stuff, right? Because it only shows up on the final day. So we couldn't rely on whatever's in this chest. Oh, it got taller. Because he's building it. Oh, that's clever. Oh, I can drop bombs too. I need to remember that. Ooh, that might be useful. That might be useful later. Okay, I don't think that I can get up here right now. Yeah, no. But we can drop bombs, which I forgot about. We could eliminate this dog. Come here, dog. I can also use those little snappies, the little Deku nuts. I can use them elsewhere too. I don't think I have to be flying to use them. But I can't get up there. I will go to the clock tower at midnight on the final day. Maybe it will give me some permanent... Maybe it'll give me some permanent valuables. Like it'll give me something that I get even whenever I reset. Did somebody ever call the Nintendo help desk? I've heard about this. I've heard about this help desk. That's so cool. Do you want to tell Linz about the time that the person in the passenger seat had a warrant out for them? What? Kenny got someone arrested that one time? That's true. You hadn't heard that, Linz? Knock him down, Tingle. Did you not hear that? I'm surprised.
Sir? Hello, Mr. Fairy.
No, wait, maybe I was in a car wreck. I was in a car wreck where the other car hit me while I was driving through an intersection. They took an unprotected left and they hit me. And then the guy didn't own the car that he was driving. And the person that was his passenger lied to the police about having to go somewhere. And then they came back and they had a warrant out for their arrest, and they got locked up. They were like, "I'm sorry, we're gonna have to take you in." So they put him in handcuffs and put him in the back of the car. And so I effectively got somebody arrested. But it's their fault for whatever their arrest was. Their warrant was out for. Ashley Rose, thank you for the doggos. Look at those beautiful biddies. Beautiful biddies. Ashley, it's good to see you. Oi, oi, oi. You made it! You made it to the end of a small stream. One little small stream. Yahoo! And that's why you never give your ID to a passenger in the car. You never give your ID if you're a passenger. Unfortunately, that's required. It's required in the US. It's a bummer. Tingle and ready to mingle. We knocked him out of the sky and now he's ready to chat. Give him the brap brap. Then it's time for a chat chat. The moon's almost here. Hello. Hello, Mooney. Hey, J Ranger, thank you for the 8 bits. Look at that. 2 different types of doggos. Oh my gosh. Double doggos. You guys. Maybe don't lie to the cops either, Die. Well, I mean, you shouldn't lie to the cops necessarily, but you definitely shouldn't tell them anything. So is this plant different now, or is it the same as it's always been? Is it enhanced in any way? Nope. Seems to work exactly the same. Huh. Maybe you can use that wood to like, what is up with this guy? I'm currently on the job. If I stop to talk, I'll disrupt my schedule. Okay, well, I have forgotten where the shop is. That would be a good thing to know. This is the milk bar, which I'm not allowed in. There's the little hotel. I've not talked to everybody in the hotel. I should probably do that. Someone was saying that they love the milk bar music. You can do a dance number here. Cha-cha, real smooth. Showing off some moves. You're pretty confident that Texas is a non-identity state. You shouldn't need to. Non-identity. You don't have to have an identity to live here. You don't even have to be a human. We got all sorts of animals living in Texas. Some of the people kind of remind you of animals too. Granny's in here thinking she's getting poisoned. This is the last day too. She might be dead by now. Uh-oh.
Oh, Tortoise, are you ready? It's been a long time since we had a picnic at the Romani Ranch, hasn't it?
Look at her spiked wheels. She looks like she's ready for some combat. I accidentally pulled out my map. She looks like she's ready for combat. She's got the chariot wheels. Chariot wheels. Non-identity. Non-identify. Oh, sorry about that. Tortoise. Am I a tortoise? Is this poop? Oh yeah, somebody's locked in the toity, right? I think there's somebody that gets locked in here and you can like talk to them and then they die and they stop talking or something. I've heard about this. I saw a YouTube video once about something. What is this? You gotta learn how to, oh, there's a fish. So if we ever need a fish, there's one right here. So if I get a jar and I want to put a fish in it, then this is exactly where we're going. Nezumi, what's up? How are you doing? Your name is so much fun because anytime that I hear a show, there's a show I've been watching, I think in the second Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood opening, it says the word Nezumi at some point, I'm pretty sure. So I always remember you. Now you've claimed an entire Japanese word. Now every time that they say it, I think you. Let's see. Can we go over here? I leave for 2 minutes and y'all are committing crimes? Alchemic. That's what you get for ordering pizza. You shouldn't have gone anywhere. Guys talking about committing crimes already. Please protect. Listen, we've got Linz. Linz and Dai are crime beans. Crime beans and Jedi went to dinner, and then Alchemic left for a second, so they were unsupervised. Oh, you're brushing your teeth. You'll get pizza after the movie. Ooh, nice. After movie pizza. Final day. Final day. Final day. What are we gonna do on the final day? Big clock moment. So is this... Why am I a crime boy? Oh, you're just always up to mischief. Always up to Linz-related mischief. Did I miss midnight? No, because it says it's 8 a.m. Is it... I'm slightly confused by how this works. Is it now 9 p.m.? Or is it 9 a.m.? Because the moon's out. The moon is out! The jig is up. I'm a Deku, and that's enough. Simply. Oh no. My music was cut short by mistake. Should I just wait here till midnight? I don't think I can go to any shops right now. Whee. The moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, you're a dead-o. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, you're a dead boy. You're a dead boy. When you look in his nose, the boogers, they dispose of your body. Of your body. Drop like boulders from the sky. Meteorites wonder why you are dying. You are dying. Open up the door. I cannot take any more of amore. Not my body. I still need it, only for a little while longer. It's a loner. It's a loner. Yay, we're dead. I think. Why wasn't I allowed in? Oh. Oh, I get it. Now I can go in there. I can do whatever the mission is and smack that moon. I don't think I can do it today, but maybe this will help me figure out what. Oh, thank you, Ranger, for the biddies. One biddy, one biddy, one biddy. Biddy sent. Don't stop now. Yeah, I'm going. I'm going, girl. What you talking about? Moon button. Hit the button. Oh, boss battle. Skull Kid. Oh, shucks. Give me that. Da 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 da. Sis. Ah, Tail. We've been looking for you two. Hey, Skull Kid. What if you gave that mask you're wearing back now? Hey, come on. Are you listening? Swamp, mountain, ocean, canyon, hurry. The four who are there, bring them here. Oh, you almost said Tile. I did.
Don't speak out of line, stupid fairy.
No! What are you doing to my brother? Skull Kid, do you think that you're our friend after that?
Well, whatever. Even if they were to come now, they wouldn't be able to handle me. Hee hee.
Nice rhyme.
Just look above you. If it's something that can be stopped, then try and stop it. You laughing at me?
Summon the boogers. Oh, moon battle. Aw, sad Deku Link. Can we all agree that Deku Link is way cuter than normal Link? Right? Right? I mean, it's gotta. I gotta scoot. Y'all have a good evening. See you later. All right. We'll see you later. I'll come back. It was nice to hang out with you. I'll be back soon and we'll play some more games. Who knows? Maybe we'll play a little Lost Ark in the interim. We'll see you later. Enjoy the movie. Enjoy your movie. Oh, shucks. You can't hit him. Good God. Never mind. Even gods bleed. Oh my gosh, I thought it would break. That's a tough little thing. Ta-da! You got the Ocarina of Time back. Princess Zelda gave you this precious instrument. Said it's all right, now we can jam. Suddenly, memories of Princess Zelda come rushing back to you. Zelda? I remember Zelda. You are already leaving the land of Hyrule, aren't you? Even though it was only a short time, I feel like I've known you forever. Aww. I'll never forget the days that we spent together in Hyrule. And I believe in my heart that a day will come when I shall meet you again. Also, hi Soulbeak! I'm just break out of this cute story to be like, Soulbeak! Yo! Poggers! Until this day comes, please take this. A couple of polygons. I am praying that your journey will be a safe one. If something should happen to you, remember this song. It's a song of time, right? Oh, probably to either slow down or speed up time. Betting it's slow down? Pretty sure that's the song of time. Man, y'all making me want to learn this on the real ocarina. I do have an ocarina, but I only know how to play part of one song. This melody lingers on the edges of your mind. It's the song of the memory of Princess Zelda. So if I can play that song, then maybe it'll like give me a little progress. You say progress? Ooh, Darren. So it is progress, eh? The goddess of time. Ooh, okay. It'll do something with time. Snap out of it. What are you doing? Lost in memories. Get yourself together. Getting that old ocarina back isn't gonna help us. Or will it? Somebody, anybody, goddess of time, help us please. We need more time. More like progress. Progress. That's awful. I'm sorry that I encouraged you. Huh? Where did you get that instrument? Yo! Whoa, sweet. We can play a little ditty. I've seen people play We Are Number One on this thing. We are number one. Yes! It's already got the first note. I don't remember. All right, sweet. We gotta look up what was that song again? I forgot it. I'm sorry, Zelda. Right A, down right A. Okay, right A, down right. Right A, down right. Right A, down right. Right A, down right. Okay. Hey! Right A, down. Right A, down? Okay, yeah. What a jam! What kind of mic is this? This one here? And also, hi. This is, Shure SM7B, I think? That's what you mean? Oh, thank you, K-Ray. I appreciate it. Ray's got my back. Return to the dawn of the first day. You can just go back? Hey, let's cheat. Wait a second. So you can keep progress like that? I wonder if you can play that whenever you want. Surely they don't let you keep everything. Oh. Way the heck back here? Oh, it's just giving a little like recap of what already happened. Dawn of the first day. Whoa! Well, what just happened? Everything has... Huh. Started over. Okay, so you can restart it whenever you want? Huh. Interesting. Interesting. What are you anyway? Wait, what are you anyway? That song you played, that instrument. That instrument! Wait, that's it, your instrument. That mask salesman said that you got back the precious thing that was stolen from you, that he could return you back to normal. Oh, yeah, somebody said that they could turn us back to normal, didn't they? Yeah, some really neat mechanics in this game. I know. Back in the day, Darren, whenever they would make a sequel, they would try something new. Even the second Zelda game was pretty original. Like, it is very, very different. What, like you walked on an overworld and would like fight monsters and there was like platforming and stuff? Like, back in the day where they would try out some really wild concepts. Yeah, but then once they do it, then everything would just look like a ripoff of this game. Okay, reset, and now we have our ocarina? Wow. Wow, I kind of want to see what happens whenever you Nowadays, just remakes? Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense. Like, if they made so many good games in the past, why wouldn't you just remake them? Town, go back to the masked salesman again? Yeah, somebody said that they could turn us back to normal if we had an instrument. Can't remember who that is. Not allowed through here. Is it the masked man? It was the masked man, okay. Horror, danger, fear, danger.
This is the most frightening game you've never played.
Actually, you may have played it. Where is he? I thought that he was actually to the south. Man, this town is so simple, yet I'm having trouble remembering where to go. I just want to find out what I guess he's going to turn me back into a human. That'd be pretty sweet. I kind of miss my humanity and stuff. I remember being able to feel the grass underneath my toes. I remember being able to feel the wind in my hair. And now I'm just a nut. One little nut. One wild nut. Yeah, I never talked to this person. We should talk to them once, see what they have to say. Hey there, little guy. Do you want to deposit some rupees? Nowadays, if people have money, they don't deposit any. Nothing. So far, a limited time, I'll give you a special gift based on how much you deposit. What? What's this paying you for something? Oh, you can buy something that holds more rupees, so you can buy a wallet. He was cursed by the floating boy lens. This is all that I've seen in the game. I assume that that's how he looked. No, yeah, I was cursed. Cursed AF. I need to go in there and get my life saved. I need to reconnect with my human roots. Human roots, haha. I don't remember. Are you a mummy? No, I'm a little Deku. They're in Ocarina of Time, and they like shoot the little Deku nuts out. They like pop out of a hole and they go, and they spit it, and you have to like defend them with the shield. You might remember them. Oh, he's in the clock tower. I forgot that he was just on the lower level of the clock tower. Oops, my bad. I wasn't gonna grill him for looking a little busted. That's just how he was born. He's healthy. Kenny's not a Hoovian? No, not really. And also, you even said, "Are you my mummy?" You didn't even say, "Are you a mummy?" I just misread it too. I misread it, and I'm a fake Hoovian. That's double dealing. I only watched two doctors. I only saw two doctors. And I may be forgetting, because it was a while ago. I do wanna rewatch the ones with Tenet and the ones with Matt. Maybe I'll try out others.
Were you able to recover that precious item from the imp? Yes! Oh, you've got it!
Good lord!
Then listen to me. Please play this song that I'm about to perform, and remember it well.
Bruh, you could play that on a child's piano. Why have you got that huge organ? You could have like 6 people play that organ. Masked salesman, that's my guy. He just shook the living daylights out of me. Soul Beaker, you telling me that you're friends with this guy? Hey! Tracking Beowulf. Whoa! Shake it, baby. Bye. Bye. It was nice to be you. So pleasant to be a Deku. Ah, it was just a mask the whole time.
This is the melody that heals evil magic and troubled spirits, turning them into masks. I am sure that this will be of assistance to you in the future. Ah yes, I give you this mask in commemoration of this day. Fear not, for the magic has been sealed inside of the mask. When you wear it, you'll transform into the shape that you just were. When you remove it, you will return to normal.
This guy seems pretty great. I like the mask salesman. He's a stand-up guy. You got the Deku mask. Wear the mask with C to inhabit the body of a Deku. Press C again to return to normal.
Now I have fulfilled my promise to you. So please give me that which you promised me.
What did I promise you? Welcome to the game. Wait a second, Darren. This was all the tutorial? You guys, we made it through the tutorial.
Don't tell me. My mask. You did. Get it back, didn't you? What have you done to me? If you leave my mask out there, something terrible will happen.
You just shook the living daylights out of that kid.
The mask that was stolen from me. It's called Majora's mask. It's an accursed item from a legend that is said to have been used by an ancient tribe in its hexing rituals.
Hexing? Oh, hex.
It is said that an evil and wicked power is bestowed upon the one that wears that mask.
What kind of power?
According to legend, the troubles caused by Majora's mask were so great.
Oh, wow, he was shaking him. Lens. Don't shake him.
The Ancient Ones, fearing such a catastrophe, sealed the mask in shadow forever. But now the tribe from legend has vanished, and no one really knows the true nature of the mask's power. But I feel it. I went to great lengths to get that legendary mask. When I finally had it, I could sense the doom of a dark omen brewing. It was an unwelcome feeling that made your hair stand on its end. And now the imp has it. I am begging you! You must get that mask back quickly, or something horrible will happen! I'm begging you! I'm begging you! You must do it! Really? You'll do it for me? I was certain that you would tell me that. You'll be fine. Surely you can do it.
This guy's so dramatic. I wouldn't know anything about that. Believe in your strengths. Believe. Wow, I actually like this guy now. I thought he was evil. No, this guy's awesome. He's just really dramatic. He's just choking Link to death. Honestly, Mask Salesman is just me on an average Friday night. Wait, it is Friday night. Right? Or is it? Yes, it is. Soulbeak, are you Mask Salesman right now? That mask. Hello. Hello. The Skull Kid uses the power of that mask to do some terrible things. Well, whatever it takes, you gotta do something about it. The swamp, the mountains, the ocean. That sounds like something to do next stream. Next stream. The 4 that are there. I have no idea. He keeps skipping, hello. He keeps skipping. I guess we'll have to go find out. If we can go through the gate straight ahead, we'll be heading in the direction of the swamp. Yeah, swamp time. Yep. Kenny, I don't think your webcam is working. Let me fix it. Ah, there we go. Now it's fixed. Thanks a lot, Awkward. Appreciate it. Also, hi. Hiya. Okay, now I'm a boy. I'm also a boy now. I'm a boy if you hadn't heard. I'm gonna save really quick. In fact, I don't know how to save in this game. How do I save? Sorry, you guys. I told you that it was gonna be a short streamy, but we'll be back. We'll play this game some more. So if you want to watch some more, make sure that you are following. Make sure you are following. And we'll be back this week. This week we'll play some more blind gaming. I'm gonna really quick go to the kitchen. Let me check something. Be right back. I have something to tell you guys. One moment. Enjoy the music and the horrible sound effects. something to tell us? It better not be a newfound butter on a Pop-Tart addiction. No, it's not that. It's not that. There's somebody here. Oi. Somebody's here at the house. Guess who it is? It's Hope Steve. Also, we're dating. We're dating. Hello. Hi. Hopes is here. And we're, yeah. So I will probably not be streaming this weekend for obvious reasons. Yeah. I guess, like, slight backstory. We talked back in December. And, yeah, now we're dating. There you go. That's the whole story, right? True story. Surprise! Surprise! Nice. Surprise! So I won't be streaming this weekend. Boom. I had Ope's like little jacket over there, but nobody figured it out, which is just fine. Good backstory. I don't have any backstory. Sorry. We will miss you. Oh, I'll be back this week. Don't worry about it. But yeah. So I guess we're gonna go get some pizza for whoever donated for pizza, or sushi or something. Not both. Congrats! Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. Yes. Very excited. Oh, it's you, Calico. Thank you so much for the pizza money. But I mean, we just need to get it out of the way of announcing. So here you go. Here's the announcement. Peep poof. Wait, what? You didn't know this, Darren? I thought I told you. I didn't tell anybody, pretty much. I was out of the room and then I came back to this guy behind you. What do you mean, this guy? You know who this is, Darren. You know who this is. It's Host. Wait, are you actually dating? No, we are. We are, yes. Facts. Absolutely, 100% true. Not a joke. I wouldn't joke about something like that. That's too sussy. Heidi, thank you for the 100 bits. Heck yeah. Oh yeah, baby. No longer single. For everybody. Wait, let me see. One last dog cheer. Oh, thank you for the dog cheers. But yeah, so I guess we might stream more together or something. But, oh, so you thinking about streaming while you're here? Maybe. Dang, you're gonna be competing against the wholesome of other Twitch couples? No, there's no competition. That's not wholesome. Wholesome couples can't have competition against each other. You hate this Majora's Mask background music? It's kind of aggressive, I bet. Yeah, but it's like the dog going, and also like a tick, 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 tick. I don't actually know what the I don't know what it sounds like. I can't hear it. Okay, that's better. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. I think we're gonna go get some pizza. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, but you don't have to stay here unless you want to. Crane couple. Oh, what? We stand. Hey, the Crane couple. Crumple. More wholesome streamers. Hello. Hooray. Couple streams are fun. Well, I mean, we might play a game at some point at least. Don't know if it's during this visit, but we could play either not Mario Party. We could play what is that couples game where there's two people? It Takes Two. I do have that. Either It Takes Two, or maybe we'll play WarioWare. Maybe. Not tonight, though. Not tonight. Couple stream tonight? No. I was just playing some Majoras because it got released today. I didn't want to... Lovers in Danger Space Time. Ooh, that's a good game. Have you played that? It's like a spaceship, and you have to like pilot different parts of it. So one person's on shields. One person can pilot. There's two guns. So you're having to like run around. Especially if there's two people. You played that so much fun. Yes, we might do it. Marissa, you're so sweet. Enjoy pizza. I'll see you soon. Yes. We'll see you soon. A hype train started. Oh no! Look at that Earl. Look at him go. Tweet. theaters. Thank you, Tayaki. I appreciate it. I'm literally running into the movie, but Lynn's DM me. Alchemic! I felt so bad that you're watching a movie. I promise. Oi, I'm so glad. You're so sweet. Alchemic probably figured it out. We love you too. Yes, yes. You can get a Minecraft mod pack. Do VR with him, her, him. Yeah, we with VR, that's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky because you have to have two headsets. That's rough. It's rough. Yeah, VR is literally like the opposite of what we can do. Oh, the night's going on! Frulio. Oh, wait, what? Oh, awkward. Awkward. Thank you for the gifted subs. Oh my goodness. One of them went to Frulio.
Gifted a
Who's
tier
this
1
handsome
sub
friend
to
behind you?
Frulio.
That's my boyfriend. Boyfriend Opes. Covered. Covered. You probably can't hear him very well. My mic's made for one person.
Awkward Earl gifted a tier 1 sub to Dragon Beowulf 34.
It's needlessly creepy. But thank you so much, Awkward. What the heck? Y'all starting a hype train. That's pretty poggers of you. I did figure out a guy, but I got the guy wrong. What? What? You got, okay, yeah. I had VidK bite. Alchemic, enjoy movie. Enjoy movie. I'll see you soon. Well, we might stream while Opes is here, but either way, I will stream as soon as possible. You had a feeling? What? What kind of feeling? What are you talking about? J Ranger, thank you for the doggos. You're generally surprised but very happy. Yay! Surprises. Alk and I were both taking bets. What? Lens. See this? You're a troublemaker. Pink Monster, thank you for the 5 gifts. Oh no. I didn't want it to be an announcement like this. Y'all celebrating too much. Pink Monster, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. What the heck? For Soulbeak, Ratara, Kennard, and Marigold.
Who is this handsome friend beside you?
Have a great time tonight. Yeah, we're gonna go get some food.
Frying an egg.
No.
Frying an egg.
Oh, no.
Frying an egg. Frying an egg.
No,
Frying an egg.
this is
Frying
not-
an egg. Avodago. 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 Avodago.
Thank you so much, Alchemic. It's probably popping off right now. Oh yeah! It's a party! Oi, oi, oi! Thank you, Alchemic. What the heck? What the heck? For 20 gifted subs! Oh, one went to Drex, one went to Jarade, one went to 10. Vonchik, oh my gosh. Miradel plays. Coco Catboy, Bakamona Katamari. Oh my gosh. So many good beans. Thank you so much. Holy moly. Marigold, yay! You get the squirrely emotes now. Hooray! Who is that? I've never seen him before. Animal Crossing Alley. Wait a second. I thought I met you through this person. Happy beans, happy beans. Na, 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 na. We knew you were dating someone. It was written all over your face. What? What was I doing? I don't remember writing that on my face. What? Did I seem too confident in myself? No. Do I remember? I'm glad that I drank this drink. I'm so easy to read. Well, excuse me, princess. Excuse me. So easy to read. Open book. I mean, what can I say? What can I say? So easy. Crane couple. Crupple. I do not believe that the Crupple had figured it out. No way.
Maybe.
No.
Crupple's pretty smart.
No way. Maybe. No one has ever called me princess. Well, there you go. Princess Cupcake.
They take notes.
Notes? Oh no. What did I say? What did I do? Well, it's all right. I want you guys to know me anyway, so that's easier. You stopped using Instagram when you met someone. Also, the pics in Discord did not look like friendship pics. What? But I specifically picked the most friendship pic that we had. Oh no. Now I know. I just stumbled upon the most amazing crossover episode. Yeah. There might be slightly more crossover later. Who knows? Ooh, non-friend pics. I don't remember that. What did I just walk into? Vonchik, it's Opes. Opes is here. Opes is here with a fancy camera. Well, this was kind of a hard stream to do. pretending like nothing's going on, but I did my best. I did my best. The pick gave babe, not bro energy. Lens has had 2 shots. Babe, not bro. Listen, I don't normally pose like a bro anyway. You could be the bro. Oh, that's a little too cool. Let me see. Where does it zoom? Oh, it only zooms on my head. Hey, Opsty is taking one of the Chonkachus home. That's true. Taiyaki gave me 2 Chonkachus. I could give you, because they had some mess up in shipping.
Oh my.
That's true. That'd be a little big for your bag.
It would be, I only brought my backpack.
Only brought a backpack. It's true.
I'll just put him under my shirt.
You were definitely not hiding it when you visited Florida. What was that? What was I supposed to do? Lie to y'all? Bratty Burrito, have you played It Takes Two? Not yet, but I own it. Maybe we will play that one of the nights that he's here, or maybe not. It also works online, so we could always play it online as well. Opes needs a suitcase when he returns home. Yeah, just buy a suitcase here. That's a good idea. That's what I'm gonna do whenever I go to Japan. I'll just bring like a big, or I won't bring one. I'll buy one and bring one back. Kenny and Opesty in one stream. Score! Just here at the end. Ah! We're ending the stream. Oh no! Listen, you guys, I don't want to be selfish, but I've only got Opesty here for a little while now. You know that. Oh, you got a gifted sub. Nice. Delphina. It's okay. It's okay. We'll stream some more. We'll stream some more soon. Okay. You guys, thank you so much for the hype train. Holy moly. This is unaccepted. This is an unexpected. Kenny Opes the IRL pizza eating stream. No! No eating streams. I can't do it. Just came to say that you two are is cuties. What? Kite? Who told you? What happened? Kite, much love. It's good to see you. Ooh. That's a friend of OT. It's one of OT's mods. And also a friend of mine. Give more subs. No, no more subs. Subs are now illegal. This is illegal, you know. Great stream, Sudsy Earl. Oh, yes. We'll be playing more Majora's Mask. Oh, shit. Oh, no. 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 Anonymous, what are you doing here? What? Oh my god. 100 gifted subs. Oh no. Okay, so Anon isn't Opes. What? It's not Opes. I feel like it might not be Alchemic now. Holy moly. Oh my god. 100.
Where's the crane couple? We need their notes.
That's a lot of pizza. Yeah. Where's the notes? Did somebody take notes? Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, whoever Anonymous is, for 100 gifted subs. Oh my god. There's so many. I can just scroll up and see a million names of people. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh no! Our gift subs! It's broken! How did I not get a sub? J-Ranger! Steal your mom's Amazon Prime account. It's the only way. All these gift subs five days before sub expires. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, whoever you are, Anonymous. I'm back and you're still chilling. Look like a squirrel.
Oh, now you
Get a squirrel on your head.
Soulbeak gifted a tier 1 sub to Ranger 6.
Hey, Darren, you're back. Oi, I don't remember what you were doing, but welcome back. We're still chilling. It's true. Because they started a level 5 hype train, and then after that, Anonymous gifted 100 subs. Oh, I don't know what I'd do to deserve y'all. I love y'all. I got back. Did Opes hologram in? No. It's real. It's real. Bonkers. All the best, guys. Oh,
Also,
yeah.
Thank you, Soulbeak.
Yes, thank you, Soulbeak, so much for the gifted sub for J Ranger. That's very generous. You did not have to do that. Thank you, Soulbeak. One day we'll figure out who Anonymous is. One day. Wait, Oops is real? Oh my god, it's real. Chef Kitty, thank you for the follow. Hi there, hi there, hi there. There's 61 people in chat and 100 is more than 61. I don't know. I think it's kind of random, and it also has to, like, I get gifted subs for channels that I don't barely watch at all. I'll like pop in one time and then all of a sudden I get a gifted sub and I'm like, what? I was doing something for a while. Who is this person? I'm confusion. This is my boyfriend, Oops. He's also a streamer, if you haven't heard of him. I rate him all the time, so I don't know how. Chef Kitty, you got gifted a sub. Nice. Congratulations. Now you get adorable purple cats. I mean squirrels. There's a lot of beautiful emotes. This one's my favorite one. This one's my favorite one.
Oh, I
let me
like
see.
bleppies.
You like bleppies? Okay, y'all compare and contrast. Which one's better? Bleppies or sippies? Which one's better? I'm not sure.
Oh, wait. Yeah, still bleppies.
All right. Bleppies it is. That's the best thing about gift subs. 1 minute lurk and bam, cool new emotes. Exactly, for an entire month too. Sweet. Yo, what did I do if gifting a sub to someone and it didn't go through? Maybe they got gifted a sub. I'm not sure. Twitch is weird. I approve of bleppies. Look at all the sippies though. I don't know. Looks like it's okay. Bleppies wins. Fine. Thank you for the gift sub. Yay, Mary, you got gifted a sub. Probably by Anonymous. Thank you, Anonymous. What the heck? Oh, no. Nardavel. You don't have to give anything at all ever. No. You don't ever have to give anything at all. We love hanging out with you, Nardavel. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the 500 bits. You don't have to do anything. No. You support by being a homie and hanging out. Tayaki's here. Allie's here.
Sorry,
what other
can't
Oops people
compete
are
with
here?
Anon, but I'm real happy for you.
Frulio was here. Soulbeak is what? Soulbeak is an Oopsie friendo?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. You just came to the PC with a margarita. Oh snap! We're probably gonna get some drinkies later. Glad y'all are happy. Of course. Me too. What luck? Lucky. You just came back with a margarita. Drinkers. Oh wait, does this work? Oh snap! Are you about to use the bat? Not the bat. No. We're back. And we're back. Yes, it does work. Yeah! Tayaki! Thank you for the gifted sub for Animal Crossing Alley.
Kip gifted a tier 1 sub to Animal Crossing _ Alley. They have given 120 gift subs in the channel.
You get the emotes. And I almost forgot. No ads. The best part. You got to get out of here for a while doing some stuff. Oh, all right. Nezumi, the stream's going to end now, but you can see me soon. I'll be back soon. The funny thing is that Oops being back there means that he's slightly out of focus, so it looks like he's green screened in. Okay, there. Is that more true? See, look, it's too fancy. Can't be green screened. That'd be too much work. Awkward. You're glad that you got to see the news? Yay! But yes, awkward. We'll see you later. That's what you thought too? No. It's real. It's a real person.
Duh.
Guaranteed. Have a great pizza. Yeah. All right. A great pizza. A great weekend. You guys are too sweet. Thank y'all so much for being amazing and supportive. I never have to worry about anything with you guys because y'all are the best. Y'all are the best, and I know that you support me, and y'all are so sweet, and it means a lot. It means a lot, more than you could ever know. Enjoy pizza. Yes, pizza time. Pizza time, pizza time, pizza time. We'll maybe be back before trip is over, so maybe in the next few days. I don't know. You can keep your eyes out, but I'll be back to Majora's either way. Have a fun weekend. Yes, I hope that everybody enjoys their weekend, has a good time, play some games. See you cutie pie soon. All right. I guess we can look for somebody to raid. Who's online? Do you know somebody, Opsty, that we can raid?
I probably do if I get my phone.
You can if you want to.
Just in case.
Yeah, just in case we got a friend that we can raid or something. We should go say hi to somebody. Have a great weekend, kids. Stay safe out there. Everybody be careful now. Krusty Krab Pizza is the pizza for you and me. Hope to meet you, but if not, maybe next time. There will be a next time. There'll be plenty of next times. See you friends soon. Oh yeah. The voice actor from Jesse from Pokemon is playing Pokemon right now. What? What? That's amazing. Currently stuck in bed sick this weekend, but this makes me feel slightly better. Delphina, I hope you feel better soon. Lemonberry, much love. Look, Opes is holding it. Hey. Now you gave a gift to Opes that I'm gonna keep. Still my gift. Display Salad, it was good to see you. I'm so glad that we got to say hi. It feels like it's been a while since I've seen you about. Wait, it costs 900 points to modify an emote? That's just the base price. I didn't mess with that price. That's just what Twitch thinks it's worth. Baby. I'm gonna have to get my I wonder where my Marshall plushie is.
He's on a show.
I got one too.
There. Now I've got an Opes plush. Nice. Baby. Like a kangaroo. Nothing that Kitty Snuggles can't fix. Hey, Fluffs! It's good to see you. Hello, hello. The hologram is really next level. I know, right? It took so much work. Pikachu's dead. It's just a hat. Don't worry. It's just a hat. He'll live. He'll live. See anybody?
Yeah.
No
pressure.
Okay.
No pressure.
Oh, I feel the pressure now.
Okay.
An ad. I don't want to watch no ads.
What did I say?
Oh,
Do you know them?
I've heard you say their name. Oops. Do. And then a dating sim. Do y'all guys want to see a dating simulator? Sounds like a risky raid. Shucks. Oh, Sucker for Love. Oh no, that's a good dating sim. Hey, we played this game.
Like that.
That's a good game. Okay, we're gonna raid somebody that's playing Sucker for Love. Very romantic. Very romantic. Pikachu, no! You guys, thank you so much for being here and for being so supportive and so sweet. Thank you so much to everybody that gave anything. That's so very nice and unnecessary. Thank you so much, everybody that just hung out with us. I'm so glad to get to tell y'all because it was bothering me so much. It was bothering me. I hate keeping secrets. Unless they're other people's secrets. I like keeping other people's secrets. Enjoy your weekend, Kenny and Opesty. Yay! Kenny Opesty weekend. But we're gonna go say hi to Kodak Zach playing Sucker for Love. We're gonna go feel unbothered. Yes, it's like a weight off of my back, finally. I'm a sucker for you. How about that? Don't tell my secret crimes, please. I know, Linz. I like keeping your secrets. Your secrets are fun to keep. My secrets are annoying to keep. Take lots of photos. You're lucky that Opes is better at taking photos than I am.
I got some good ones.
I knew you were a criminal, Linz. You're the other criminal, Die. There's two criminals, and it's you and Linz. Enjoy your weekend. It was good to see you, Kuya Cat. Thanks for being here, Slimy Salamander. Okay, I'm going to start the raid. We're going to start saying goodnight to everybody, all right? Yeah. All right, let me see. Kodak. I'm going to have to, whip on my headphones as quick as possible to hear his reaction. But we're going to go say hi to Zach. They're playing Sucker for Love. Very silly dating simulator with chthonic gods that you're dating instead of decent people. You're scared of the game now? You should be. It's a scary game. But it's really funny. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Alchemic, who's not here, for being a moderator. Thank you, Di, for being a mod. I'm so happy that you're back, Linz, and you're not as busy. Yay! Yay, yay, yay. Lens, welcome back. Thank you for helping. Jedi, thank you also for helping, who is not here either. Thank you so much. VIPs, Lemonberry, Calico, Display Salad, King of Squirrel, Crane Couple, Jet Shepherd, Taiyaki, Kim, Kivy, Lupus, Malice, Marissa. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And everybody else, have a wonderful night. We'll see you later. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for being here. Nesme Love, Von Chick, Calico, Lens, Nardivel, Pink Masa, Taiyaki, Dai, Malice, Heidi. All right, now get out of here. Go away. Shoo. Thanks for watching the videos. I'm so glad that we got this YouTube channel back.